Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
Back home in Indiana and back home with NXTGEN Racing. Welcome along everyone to round 2 of the championship, and it is the first oval race of this inaugural season. This is the IndyCars at NXTGEN Racing. Our first season of hosting this and our first time on the ovals, but a little bit about the series before we get underway, ladies and gentlemen. Round 2 is featured at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, home to the greatest spectacle in racing. And let's give a shout out to our partner, sponsors and affiliates here at NXTGEN Racing that help put on the show here to keep all these leagues running. They are PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports, Sam Cases, Motor Racing, Joyce Design, P1.com and Falconer PC. So this is a series hosted every other week on Tuesday nights. We had round 1 2 weeks ago from today, and it's round 2 tonight. Round 1 was hosted at the Mugello Grand Prix circuit in Italy, and of course this is a series that's going to feature many road courses and many oval courses as well, testing all skills of drivers in IndyCar machinery. So Mugello was round 1 of the championship, and what a great round that was. But today it's our first of 3 oval rounds of the championship, and it's hosted at the Brickyard, of course. In the next 2 weeks, we'll be off to Donington Park for the 3rd round of the season, the 2nd road course of the season. Round 4 will be hosted at the Twin Ring Motegi circuit in Japan, with round 5 back in Italy to the Monza GP circuit. We're back on the ovals for round 6, and it'll be the Phoenix Raceway. Yet to be confirmed, I think, whether it is the new layout or the legacy layout of Phoenix Raceway. I don't mind either, but either way, it should be a very exciting round. Round 7 of the championship hosted at the Algarve circuit, also known as Portimao, which is going to be a very exciting circuit with these IndyCars. But we're back to Indiana in round 8, and that'll be hosted on the road course. Round 9 will be the final of the 3 oval courses of the championship, and it'll be hosted at Charlotte Motor Speedway, not traditionally an IndyCar circuit in real life. Of course not, it'd be way too fast. It's a high-banked oval. It's going to see flat-out racing, very close, intense racing, and that'll be the penultimate round of the championship, the final oval race of the championship. But then the final race of the season will be hosted at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, round 1 of the championship in Montreal, Canada, on the 15th of December to see us out of the season into Christmas. Now, these oval races are different to the formats that we have in the road courses. Now, the road courses feature a format fairly traditional with iRacing and sim racing, I would say. It has a sprint race of 20 minutes, which follows with a feature race of 60 minutes. Both races would normally start with a qualifying session as well to set the grid for those races. But today it's going to be slightly different. We're going to have a singular qualifying session where excuse me, each driver will head out onto the track one by one in what is effectively an open session, but they'll be instructed to go out onto the track one by one, and they'll get 2 flying laps to set their fastest lap. It's not average lap like it is based in real life IndyCar racing, but it is their best lap that will count towards their qualifying session. They'll go out in reverse championship order as well, and that will set the grid for the one and only race here at Indianapolis tonight, and that'll be a 90-minute race. Normally, it's a lapped race. Of course, we know the Indy 500 being 200 laps, but a 90-minute race actually means that we don't know how many laps we're going to have. It depends how many cautions we have, and of course, cautions are automated for these oval races, so that could really make things interesting and far less predictable when it comes to strategy as well. When you're trying to work out fuel, when you're trying to work out tyre life, and of course track position as well is crucial. Now, with oval racing, as we watch some of the cars out on track at the moment, oval racing, particularly in IndyCars, there is one thing that comes to mind when you look at IndyCar oval racing. It is dirty air. Now, following the car in front of you, you'll notice that the wings on these cars, the front wing and the rear wing, are much flatter and thinner than they are in road courses, and that's because it's to generate as little downforce as possible and to make the cars go as fast as possible. Now, sometimes in Sometimes at Indianapolis, sometimes on IndyCar oval racing, the rear wing is actually inverted. It's actually facing rearward towards the ground to generate more lift of the rear end and make the car go a little bit faster to generate more air under the car. But because there is such little downforce on these cars on ovals, it means that following another car in front of you means you understeer almost horrifically, I would describe it, in these corners. So that's the one thing that these drivers, that is the true test of tonight, is how well they're going to be able to follow other cars in dirty air, how well they can control it, essentially the throttle control, the steering input, the amount of steering input they use, the line they use, because you've got to kind of poke your car out of the direct slipstream from the car in front. All of this is crucial for IndyCar racing. So, we have got championship order. Unfortunately, it's not on the screen available for us. We have a few issues with the championship order as we head into tonight. Hopefully, it'll be sorted for next week. But let's take a... I'll read you through what the championship standings are looking like at the moment. So, we do have an overall championship standings. We do have classes as well. So you'll notice on the timing tower already, we do have a little bit of a classification system. You'll notice the drivers that are labelled with a pink background number. They are what's referred to as the Indy class. And they're typically pro category in other next-gen series. We've also got the orange background numbers. They are the next category, and they are typically the AM category drivers from other series. We do also have some unclassified drivers who will be classified in the next round. But generally, on an overall basis, when it comes into this race tonight, there is one driver on everyone's mind at the moment, and it's this driver here, Ieuan Stich. He won both races last time out at Mugello. He won the sprint race and he won the feature race. So he is the driver, absolutely the driver to look out for tonight. And he's fourth at the moment in the standings. Now, to be honest, these standings are not 100% representative of what we're going to see in, potentially not in qualifying and potentially not in the race. And it's because in the, in qualifying, I think they do anyway, they have a different setup to use, usually a much faster setup that sees them go to speeds of well over 130, near 140 miles per hour, whereas the race setups a little bit fine-tuned to follow in dirty air, to last longer on the tyres and to last longer on fuel, etc., and to control better on heavier fuel as well. That's the main thing to look out for, but these times are not 100% representative. But going back to the championship standings, we also have Benji McCluskey, who is another driver to look out for. He's quick in any machinery, and he is second in the championship heading into tonight. Other drivers to look out for. Now, the thing is, I know some of these drivers from a previous IndyCar series that I've been a part of. I know you've got to look out for a few drivers here that are Nigel Stock. He's very good on the ovals, as is Fran Herrera, who wasn't racing last time at Mugello, but I know he's very good on these ovals. So we've got to keep an eye out for him as well. But also look to the top of the standings. Now, I know I did say a moment ago that the times are not 100% representative, but Ben Gregory at the top of the standings, he's looking rather quick here as well. So he might be one to look out for. Now, as I mentioned with qualifying. So each driver will get 2 laps. And they'll go in reverse championship order. It'll be based on the overall standings, I do believe. So the first one out onto the track, I believe, will be Fran Herrera. He'll be the first out there. Now, being first out there, being last out there, it all depends how well the track, or how much the track heats up, how well the car handles on the colder circuit as well, or even the hotter part, the circuit when it gets hot. But they'll be going out one by one, so it'll be about 1 to 2 minutes per driver. We'll see. They'll all do their laps, and that'll set the grid for race 1. They get 2 laps each, and then they must come into the pits. And then the race will start at approximately 1/2 the hour, and that'll be a 90-minute race, as we mentioned. So we have no idea how many laps it will be, and that's the exciting part of it. It means the strategy is going to be entirely different to what you normally see in IndyCar style races. So very, very exciting here. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic race. It's the first time that actually NXTGEN is broadcasting / hosting an IndyCar oval race in the form of a league. So it is the first time, and where better to start it than Indianapolis. Of course, it's one of the oldest tracks in the world. It's one of the most famous races in the world, usually hosted in the month of May. We're in August here, so slightly delayed there, but there's something about, even on iRacing, even in leagues, even in online racing, there's something about winning here that feels really, really special. It lines up with races like at Le Mans and Daytona, and I suppose on other sims, Monaco, etc. There's something special about this place, and being the winner here rewards you with quite a lot of points, as well as the point system in this NXTGEN Championship. There are plenty of points up for grabs, not just for finishing in certain positions as well. Plenty of bonus points on offer. Pole position gets a bonus point. Fastest lap gets a bonus point. Most laps led gets 4 bonus points. In fact, fastest lap and pole position gets 2 points, per one. Joining the session, you get 5 points. Unconditional if you've joined the session, and I assume you started the race. And completion of the race, you get an extra 5 points. So plenty of points available all across the way. And I suppose this is the one style of racing where even if you're not quite up fighting for the win, you can still go for bonus points such as fastest lap. Because that's just the way oval racing works. And especially that they're all on fixed setups as well. They're all on the same setup, so they'll all get a big chance at this. Okay, so we're not far away from getting going with qualifying. It's going to be a little bit odd to watch it. I mean, last time we were at Mugello, it was very, very quick, watching all the drivers on a one-lap stint for the sprint race. As we're just watching Ieuan battling against Toby Deck there as we head into turn 3. And that is the practice they'll be getting under their belts right now, is to make sure that they have got the hang of racing in the dirty air here. If we just go on board with Toby Deck here, you'll see there is a driver just up the way there. That will be affecting the grip. And you can see there was a little bit of a lift there through turn 2. And that is where being able to position your car on different lines through these banked corners, you can see there he's not quite as low down as the driver in front, and he got real close to the wall there, did Toby. That's how difficult it is, and the driver in front actually was on a higher line going through turn 4, so Toby Deck instinctively went to the lower line. That's how much they are switching lines here on Indianapolis, and that was a good lap actually from Toby Deck. Oh, as he hits the wall there in turn 1. Ah, big incident there. Hopefully don't see too many of them, because that will be an immediate caution and game over in the race. Now, they do get fast repairs, which is basically the iRacing equivalent of a magic wand, where it casts your car back into life and you can resume racing. But it does mean if you have a wreck like that, you still have to tow back to the pits. And it costs you a lap, if not more. So that's the one thing drivers have to be wary of. You can't just go flat out through turn 1 like I think Toby did try there and assume to get through there. Sometimes you have to drop your speeds down to below 200 miles per hour, which is quite a shock in IndyCar terms. So no drivers out on the track right now. They're all preparing for qualifying. They might well be receiving a driver's briefing, actually. That would be my assumption. But they'll be briefed about the procedure of qualifying. Some of these will be used to it. Ben Bennyworth has driven this kind of qualifying format before. So has Fran Herrera. So has Nigel Stock. They've raced in a series. I think Jamie Dory will be familiar with it too, being one of the hosts, and also being that he's competed in it with it before. So, like I said earlier, I believe Fran Herrera will be the first on track for qualifying. It could well actually be Ben Bennyworth, because he is an unclassified driver and he is a late... Well, not a late entrant, but he is someone who's unclassified. So he signed up between rounds 1 and 2. Good to see, because I know he is a decent IndyCar driver as well. I've had many a battle with him in IndyCar in previous years and seasons in other championships. So here we go. We're getting ready for qualifying, which is going to be a fairly lengthy session, but we get to see each driver take on the laps that they need. So the first driver going to be out on track, I believe it is Ben Bennyworth, and we'll find out very, very shortly. It is indeed Ben Bennyworth. My assumption was right. And I think next up will be Fran Herrera. So Ben Bennyworth will eventually leave. And you'll progress onto the track. So this will be an out lap, and then as soon as you get to the line, that starts your qualifying. You get 2 laps, as we mentioned. So here we go, round turn 4 we go. Ben Bennyworth is about to start his first lap, and he got nice and close to the wall there. And now we begin. Green flag waves. Into turn 1 we go. Doesn't quite get low in turn 1 and actually has to lift off a little bit. The grip not quite there at turn 1. We're still in 6th gear. But he's going to lose a lot of time. But he has got another lap to set. And it is based on your fastest time rather than average times like what it is. And this might be just to warm up the tyres. And it actually looks like the rear end is really loose. And like he's barely turning the steering wheel, in fact. And you can hear the rear wheel scrubbing. And I wonder if he's got the weight jacker set really aggressively as well. Because that's another thing to consider, is these drivers can adjust their weight jacker. They can adjust ARBs as well. So the weight jacker will adjust how much weight goes to the rear of the car. And taking off the weight on the rear will help quite a bit, but will also make the car extremely light underneath you. But also the ARBs, you can soften or stiffen the front. You can also soften or stiffen the rear end. Barely a turn of the wheel here. It's better to keep the wheel as straight as possible because you're scrubbing off less speed. And the first lap was a 39.4 from Ben Bennyworth, but the second lap there was a 39.43. So that is the end of qualifying for Ben Bennyworth. He sets the benchmark. Now Fran Herrera is on his out lap right now. Next after Fran Herrera, I believe, is Ben Gregory. So here we go. Fran Herrera starts his first lap. Into turn 1 we go. He's turning the wheel a little bit more. Tiny lift there, but I think it was cleaner through turn 1. But couldn't quite get down low enough. But turn 2 looks pretty good. You've got his wheels just below the white line there. But immediately I can see the drivers are struggling for grip. Now, sector 1 is not quite as quick as Ben Bennyworth's best sector 2, and in fact very wide there for Fran Herrera, and he's gone into the wall, and that's going to be qualifying over for Fran Herrera. Not a good start to his season, unfortunately, and he will have to retire the car from qualifying, and it will be the back of the grid. As that happens, we can quickly repair the cars, and it means that Ben Gregory can head out onto the track to start his qualifying. But that's such a shame for Fran Herrera. It was looking okay through turns 1 and 2, but he just didn't quite get the turn in correct on turn number 3. And he understeers straight into the wall. And immediately I can just see that the drivers are really struggling for grip out there already. It's a very high track temperature as well, of 42 degrees. Air temperature 27 as well, which doesn't help things either. Okay, so Ben Gregory, he was quickest in qualifying. So let's see what he can do here. Into turn 1. Nice and early to the apex, but no, he's hit the wall as well. And he's had to back off. He might be able to keep it going. He might not have too much damage on the car. But immediately a big moment. The drivers are struggling out there. And just to inform, Toby Deck will be the next driver out for qualifying. Out onto the track, that is. Right, I think Ben Gregory has recovered a little bit. Didn't quite use all the track in turn 4. I imagine he's a little bit nervous now after that hit at wall at turn 1. Let's see what lap 2 gives us. It'll be an invalid lap. Oh, you can see he's understeering, but he's kept it out of the wall this time. 6th gear has bogged down a little bit. But so far this is clean. He is slower at the moment than Ben Bennyworth. Okay, that is a clean lap. And it means Ben Gregory will get onto the board. The fastest in practice, it looks like a 40.7. No, it isn't. It's a 39.63. It absolutely lied to us, that sector thing then. But that's qualifying done for Ben Gregory. He might be a bit disappointed with that, given how well practice went. But he's on the board. He's done a qualifying lap. He'll be on the grid. Fran Herrera will also be on the grid, of course, but he'll be at the back of the grid. Now, Toby Deck is next. Toby Deck struggled a little bit at Mugello. He only scored 3 points last time in that round. But let's see what he's like on the ovals. Here comes the Dutchman. The Flying Dutchman flies across the line. Nice and tight to the wall. Oh, he had to back off there. Turn 1 is not able to go flat out at the moment. Nice and low at turn 2. But the car did bog down quite a bit at the exit of turn 1. And I think a lot of drivers will be watching this if they're later on in the session. Excuse me, they'll be watching this right now, thinking, right, I'm going to go for an early lift in turn 1 just to make sure I get through that corner. This is looking pretty good, actually, from Toby Deck at the moment. Nice and tight to the wall outside of 4 at the end of lap 1. So now, lap 2. Very good final split from Toby then. That lap was a 39.49. Oh, he got so close to the wall there, and the rear end got out of shape. He squirreled his way out of turn 1, and he just about kept hold of it into turn 2. The split time is down from Ben Bennyworth, but there's still time on this lap. Very low as you probably can go on turn 3 there. What about turn 4? Very low again. That was actually a very good turn 3 and 4. Used all the road. I think Lewis Mason is next out onto the track, by the way, just to inform. And that is fastest qualifying session time so far, 39.41, 23 thousandths of a second quicker than Ben Bennyworth. Pole sitter right now is Toby Deck. Now Lewis Mason. He did stop at turn 4 then, so that is probably going to be a naff lap 1 already. But he will be able to speed it up for turn 1. The only for lap 2, sorry. The only thing I'm worried about is he's lost a bit of tyre temperature now. Let's see how Lewis gets on. Oh, all out of shape heading out of turn 2. There's a little bump on the end of turn 2, which really can unsettle the car. He's up to speed now at the end of the back straight. Missed the apex a little bit, but he's kept it away from the wall, and the car is all over the place. Oh no, in the rear end, let's go. That's qualifying over for Lewis Mason. That might have been what I predicted. The tyre temperature's not quite right. And that's going to be the end of Lewis Mason's session. No time for him. Now, Ben Autry is next. The full tilt racing driver was quick last time, but the points didn't reflect how quick he was actually last time at Mugello. The results did not fall his way, so the full tilt driver will be going full pelt tonight to try and make up for the lost points at Mugello. This is his out lap. And the story of qualifying here is grip. The car is just not quite gripping underneath them, and you have to use your tools, as they say in IndyCar. You have to use the ARBs, you have to use the weight jacker. Let's see how Ben Altria gets on through turn number 1. Nice late turning, doesn't quite get low enough, but that was very clean. The cleanest we've seen so far was from Ben Altria just then. Oh no, Ben, turn 2. He had to back off there, and that is really going to cost him on this back straight now. Turn 2 was not quite right. It's a shame because turn 1 was really good. Turn 3. That's a good line. That's a very, very good line. So the trick is a nice late turning, but being able to get down to below that white line, which you're actually allowed to do with one tyre. Turn 4. It's turn 2 and 4 that he's struggling with at the moment, but it's a 39.8 at the moment for Ben Altria. Still another lap to go. So far, turns 1 and 2, pretty good. Turn 3, nice and low. He did have to wrestle with the car a little bit then. Turn 4, not low enough, but he can keep his foot just about in it. Let's see how this is. He'll cross the line now. Next onto the track is Mark Sykes, I believe. Mr. Next Gen himself, and that from Ben Altria was a quicker time, but only a 39.75. It's 4th place at the moment for the full tilt driver. Now, Mark Sykes has just started his opening lap. He backed off a little bit there at turn 1 and he went through clean. 6th gear does not sound very high right now. He might be worth him switching to 5th gear, but he's going to keep his foot in it in 6th at the moment. Mr. Next Gen himself, the proprietor of Next Gen, giving IndyCar a good swing here, and he's won many races in NXTCC and GT3s. And that we see pulling off to the pits there was Ben Altria. Now that's the end of lap 1 for Mark Sykes. Time on the board is a 40.73. That's not quite enough to be threatening the top positions there, but I think what Mark is just trying to do here is get himself through qualifying right now. That was much better, turns 1 and 2 actually. The revs are much higher in 6th gear there. Not a bad line into turn 3, not a bad line at all. Oh, a little bit of a lift there in turn 4, just trying to get it through I think is Mark Sykes. And it's going to be a clean running qualifying here for Mark Sykes. Let's see what time he does get in the end. Oh, it is a 39.94. That's enough for 5th place at the moment. He's on the board. He's qualified. Now, Lee Horn, one of my good friends, actually, is Lee. He started qualifying already. That's his flying lap. He's just started. He lifts a bit in turn 1, but that's real clean through turn 1. Into turn 2. Oh, the rear end giving way there. The revs have dropped down a little bit there for Lee Horn, but he's through the turns that really have probably the least grip of all the qualifying. Yes, just to answer a question on YouTube chat, it is a fixed setup. They all drive the same setups. Oh, Lee Horn really wrestling with the car there. Now hopefully he can get good revs at the end of the straight here. Start lap 2, but it's so tricky out there. 40.19. Not quite hitting the apex there, but he's kept it out the wall. No, it's the rear end has given way. Whoa, has he kept it going? Yes, he has. Well done, Lee. That's very well held. That is incredibly hard to do, so well done, Lee, for that. But unfortunately for Lee, that is going to be qualifying over for him. And that is going to be 6th on the grid for him at the very highest. Next out onto the track is Carl Thompson. Just starting his out lap now. And I think he is in a... Is that a Scott McLaughlin livery I can see there? No, it might actually just be a base iRacing livery, actually. Okay, he's about to start his lap. Or laps, shall I say, into turn 1. No, that's too early or apex. He's had to lift a lot there. He's down to 5th gear. First one we've seen in 5th gear, apart from the ones that have crashed, obviously. Now, he's playing it safe with 5th gear here. The driver who will be out after Carl Thompson will be Nigel Stock, I believe. No, it'll be Phil McDougall, do excuse me. Okay, I don't think that's a very quick time from Carl Thompson, but lap 2, let's see how he'll get on here. It's a 41.19, no, a big lift there. Not feeling comfortable with the car is Carl Thompson. And I think he's going to abort his lap here. So he'll just take the time on the board. It will get him higher on the grid than those that didn't fare as well. Phil McDougall in one of the most striking liveries on the track, on the grid, the CXR machine. Okay, so Phil McDougall is 13th in the championship heading into tonight. We still have to run Nigel Stock, Jamie Dory, Christian Yuell, Luca Monroe, Christophe Demey, Gavin Gardner, Mark Frederick, and we still have Benji McCluskey and Ieuan Stich, of course. Now that is the start of lap 1 for Phil McDougall. Nice line. No, he's into the wall. That's gonna cost qualifying already. Phil, he nearly made it. He absolutely nearly made it then, but nearly is not quite enough. It's going to cost him a lot of grip through these corners now if he even can keep hold of the car. Next out, as I mentioned, is Nigel Stock. No, the car is just not gripping now for Phil McDougall. It was looking like a good line through turn 1, but just a little bit too much speed through the corner. Actually, no, that's okay. That looked okay. He's done all right there, actually, has Phil. But has the damage slowed down the car? It's not quicker than Toby Deck or Ben Bennyworth at the moment. They're the benchmarks right now. They'll be very, very pleased with how they've done so far. And I think it'll be a minimum of a top 10 for Toby and Ben Bennyworth. Nigel Stock is already setting his lap. And that's Phil McDougall on the board. Backs off a little bit there. That's a 39.5 for Phil McDougall. I'm just going to check on Nigel Stock here. I think Phil McDougall has called it a day on qualifying there. That is Nigel Stock on a flyer. Comes across the line to end his first flyer, and that is a 39.7. Enough for 5th place. Oh, he was so close to the wall then, was Nigel. Oh, Nigel Stock has plenty of experience in IndyCar. We might know exactly what to do here to handle the weight jacker and the ARBs, to know what to do and learn from the other drivers as well. Next driver out will be Christian Yuell. He's already on a flyer. I think they're sending drivers out a little bit quicker just to make sure that we get qualifying done in time. And Christian Yuell has had a very good first sector, but let's just watch the rest of Nigel Stock here. He crosses the line. It puts him up to 3rd place with a 39.52. Good qualifying there from Nigel Stock. Now Christian Yuell is on a flyer here. He's made it through turns 3 and 4, presumably. Across the line. To the top of the standings straight away on the opening lap. 39.40. No, and he bins it into the wall straight after. It was a do-or-die lap then, clearly, from Christian Yuell. But it might be enough still for pole position. On the track, on an out lap, so this would be the start for Luca Monroe, 8th in the championship heading into tonight. Nice and clean through turns 1 and 2. Nothing too dramatic there for Christian Yuell. May have done the one lap that was enough He might have just done it. No averages here. You can just go for it on one lap and one lap only. Luca Monroe gets to the end of lap 1. Christophe Demey is on the track right now. He's starting qualifying soon. Oh, that's a bit low. That's a bit low. No, he hits the wall. He might be able to carry on, but I think he's backed off. That's going to be it for Luca Monroe, and that first lap was enough for 6th place for the moment, 39.58. But that's going to end qualifying for Luca. Now on an out lap is Christophe Demey. He was super quick at Mugello and was involved in a lot of great battles last time. He was one of the fastest lap sitters of the race as well and got the bonus points for that. He's pole position as well, I believe, for the feature race. My memory serves me right. But not a good turn 2 though. That's not a good start to the lap for Christophe. Next out on the track, by the way, is going to be Gavin Gardner. But right now, this is Christophe Demey, the lone Frenchman of the field. And he follow in the steps of Simon Pagenaud, winning the Indy 500, or this version of Indianapolis. It's a clean lap 1 from Christophe Demey. Up to the times he goes. 9th place for the moment on a 39.8. Can he go quicker on this one? 6th gear is sounding a bit quiet at the moment. But it's clean. It's extremely clean through these. But is it fast enough? Gavin Gardner is going to be starting his first flying lap now. This is Christophe Demey finishing off through turn 3. Misses the apex a little bit. We'll need to lift. Turn 4 though. Turn 4 was okay. Whoa. It's so sketchy out there. So sketchy. And Mark Frederick is on the track as well. Now they're across the line. 4th place for Christophe Demey. That's very good. With a 39.47 to finish off qualifying. This is Gavin Gardner, the host of the series, the man who came up with the idea to host an IndyCar League at NXTGEN Racing. Him and Jamie Dury and Nigel Stock have worked together to put this on. How will Gavin Gardner get on in his own series? 12th at the moment on the opening lap, 40.46. Turn 1 looked good. Turn 2 looks okay. And he's using 5th gear. Not many drivers have. Many drivers have stuck it out in 6th. From turn 3 down to 5th gear. Just might well give a little bit more grip and keep the acceleration up. Whoa, getting really out of shape. Well, slightly out of shape through 4. But that's going to be the end of qualifying for Gavin Gardner. Next we've got Mark Frederick, but Gavin Gardner goes up to 11th. Not a great qualifying for Gavin Gardner. 39.97, but it puts him into the timed positions. Now Mark Frederick is about to finish his first flying lap. Gavin Gardner is already on his first flying lap. We've also got Benji McCluskey out there warming up. 7th place for Mark Frederick so far, 39.54. That's a very good start. Can he get himself higher? We saw Christian Yuell with the heroics of his lap 1 time to put himself on provisional pole at the moment. Only 3 more drivers can beat that. What can Mark Frederick do? He's done very well in turn 3 there. Nice and close to the wall as well, using all the roads. He's done again in turn 4. This looks okay. Let's see how he gets on with this second lap. Across the line goes Mark Frederick. Oh, to 2nd place. 6,000th of a second off top spot. So close in the end, but a brilliant time from Mark Frederick. He knocks Toby Deck off of the front row. It is 2 cars per row here at Indy on iRacing. For this series it is anyway. Benji McCluskey, good start, 5th place, but that wasn't a very good turn 2. Turn 1, excuse me. So he has to recover it here. The 5th place at the moment with a 39.46. We've also got Ieuan Stich, the final driver of qualifying, out there right now. That's a good turn 3 from Benji McCluskey. Ieuan Stich has started his flying laps. That looks pretty good from Benji McCluskey, but did turn 1 cost him? I think Ieuan Stich has just crashed out, actually. He's no longer on the track, and Benji McCluskey goes to the top of the standings. 400ths quicker than Christian Yuell. And I think he's done it. He's pole sitter for our opening oval race of the series. Ieuan Stich is out. And I can't go to a replay. I haven't got a record of anything happening. But Ieuan Stich, something's happened to him. And he's reverted back to the pits. But Benji McCluskey with a fantastic clutch qualifying there to put him to the top of the standings. Brilliant times towards the end there. Drivers in the top 10 in the championship. McCluskey, Ewell and Frederick doing very well there. Now it is going to be a 2x2 grid for this race. It will not be the traditional 3 wide start that we see in Indianapolis. But we have 19 drivers who are going to line up on the grid. And the only driver who didn't go out there was, Jamie Dory. But anyway, we have now got a small warm-up, actually, before we get things underway. I didn't know there was a warm-up, actually, so apologies if you were waiting for the race there, but it gives the drivers a little bit of a chance to cool down from qualifying and get used to the race setup if they haven't yet from practice. We've got a 5-minute session here, and you can see the 2 drivers here in the same liveries. I don't quite know what team they're racing for. That's Christian Ewell, and I think that's Ieuan Stich, yep. Teaming up a little bit, practicing in slipstreaming, which is really, really important, as we mentioned, for racing on ovals. And you know what? We've got Phoenix coming up later on in the season. Phoenix is a much smaller track, so it means that drafting and it means that cornering speed is going to be so important there as well. Well, what an entertaining qualifying session. Watching all the drivers one by one, it's absolutely fascinating. Most drivers out on the track at the moment, getting a little bit of practice in, but just a little bit of a reminder of what we've got in this series. It's every 2 weeks we are racing in this series. We're going back to the road courses in 2 weeks from today on the 8th of September. That will be at Donington Park GP. Nice, simple circuit for IndyCars there. I mean, plenty of long straights as well. It means that push to pass is going to have to be harvested and used really, really tactically there. But tonight we're on the first of 3 oval rounds of the championship. And who's going to win? Well, at the moment, Benji McCluskey's looking very good for a good performance tonight. But the thing is, as I mentioned, we have got a timed session here, 90 minutes. So the amount of laps cannot be predicted. If you want to predict laps, let us know in the chat. But I have no idea what it's going to be. It depends how many cautions we get. Judging by qualifying, we might get a few cautions. Now, I don't have the luxury of an ad break, so I'll have to keep yapping on during these cautions. And we'll see how we get on. Trust in the drivers. I'm sure they'll do a good job. And just a reminder, I did explain it earlier, but I'll explain it again. It looks like an explosion in a refreshers factory on the timing tower right now with the pinks and oranges there. But yeah, the different colours suggest categories, skill categories in this championship. Now they are, as of yet, conditioned to change, subject to change. But the drivers who have the pink background on their numbers in the timing tower, they are in the category of Indy, and they are typically pro category drivers in other series. They are typically the drivers in the top half of the field. And then you've got the orange background drivers, if you can call that orange. I think it's technically called dark orange on SDK, but they are the category known as Next. Indy Next, get it? I'll stop now. Anyway, the next category is typically the AM category, the drivers in the lower half of the field, the lesser experienced drivers of the field. And they are subject to change. I've got a feeling a lot of them will, especially the driver watching now. He definitely needs to be in the top category, in my humblest opinion. But it means that drivers all across the field have a chance at fighting for victories, have a chance for fighting for championships. Today, though, until classes are fully set, which is at the end of Donington Park in 2 weeks' time, we are primarily going to focus on the overall standings in this race. But it's worth making note of who is the highest orange driver of the field and who is the highest pink driver of the field. It's worth keeping an eye on that because for their own championships, it's quite important. $110 laps predicted from Welsh Boy, yeah. I had a number similar to that in my head. I had a number of around 100 or more. And you see Ieuan Stich getting out of shape there, heading out of turn 4. I do fear we're going to get quite a lot of that today. Now, one thing I know about these races, particularly when there's low grip conditions, is drivers who tend to take their time at the back of the grid and get tyres as much as they can and don't really worry about their track position, they tend to be the drivers that do well towards the end of the race. So we might see a couple of drivers who are at the back of the field just gambling with more pit stops. Switch over to drivers who are out on the track at the moment. Toby Deck has just done the fastest time. He's looking good tonight. Or he gets close to the wall in turn 1. That would have been an ultimate jinx then. But he's looking quick tonight. He was quick in qualifying. And he's quick in practice right here. A little bit of a draft in front of him as well to help him along with it. But that's the end of warm-up. We're going to go to the race. The first ever IndyCar race we're going to have on an oval here at NXTGEN. Okay, so the grid for round 2 of the IndyCar series hosted by NXTGEN, round 2 at Indianapolis. Benji McCluskey will start on the front row, and alongside him on the outside will be Christian Yuell. On the inside, row 2 will be Mark Frederick, with Toby Deck starting on the outside of row 2. Row 3 will be taken up by Ben Bennyworth, and to his right will be Christophe Demey. Nigel Stock will start 7th, with Phil McDougall in 8th position. Luca Monroe 9th, with Ben Gregory rounding off the top 10. Ben Elcher will start 11th on that 6th row, with to the right of him will be Mark Sykes. 13th will be Gavin Gardner, with Lee Horn alongside his teammate at NXTGEN Racing on that 7th row. 8th row taken up by Carl Thompson, and championship leader heading into tonight, Ieuan Stich. Jamie Dory, one of the hosts of the series, is 17th, with Lewis Mason in 18th, and Fran Herrera will start 19th at the back of this grid. We are about to get underway with the opening oval race of this series, the first of 3 in this championship. And here we go, the pace car has led us off the line, ready to start this race. We've got a 90-minute race ahead of us. It'll be approximately 100 laps or more. It very much depends on cautions. And before we get started, track temperature, 33 degrees. Okay, it's cooled down, and that will help. 33 degrees is cooler, but it will get hotter quite quickly out there. Now, the starting procedure for these oval races, when the pace car peels off, is very much similar to starting a road course race, but the rules of NXTGEN are you are not allowed to floor it until the marshal waves the race is green. Phil McDougall is still in the pits. For some reason, he has not left the grid. So there's 18 drivers out there at the moment, unless Phil McDougall can get himself going. So let us know in the chat who is going to be your race winner. Who are you predicting to win this race, to take the first ever IndyCar oval race of the NXTGEN Racing IndyCar Series? I'm going to go for a slight wild card here. I'm going to go for Toby Deck. He's looking good in practice and qualifying. Let's see what happens though. We're lining up on the front straight. We're approaching the yard of bricks. The first of 3 oval rounds in this championship is about to get underway. We are green at Indianapolis. Not a good start from someone on the inside there. I think that's Ben Bennyworth struggling on the inside there. But into turn 1 we go. We've already got 3 wide. Oh, and towards the outside of the corner there. I think that was Toby Deck who was going very wide there. But so far through turns 1 and 2, we are clean at the moment with drivers shuffling around all over the place. But towards the front, we've already got Mark Frederick challenging for the lead on Benji McCluskey. Inside as we approach turn number 3, he's got the inside. McCluskey hangs it out wide. We've also got Christophe Demey and Ben Gregory against each other. Good start to the race for Mark Frederick. He gets himself in front nice and easy, but fuel saving will be straight on the minds of everyone. As into the pit lane already goes Toby Deck. I think he hit the wall back there, so my prediction has gone horribly wrong already. I'm sorry if that comes across as commentator's curse. I hope it's absolutely not. Someone's hit the wall back there. I think that was Lee Horn who hit the wall just then. His car's crabbing a little bit already. He'll have to go to the pits and get a fast repair. Nice and early, or bad and early, should we say. He's slowing down here with Jamie Dory passing by. Meanwhile, towards the front, Frederick still leads, and back here Ben Gregory was quick in practice. Qualifying, it didn't quite go well for him, but he's already up 6 places. It was a great start to the race for him. It might be worth watching his race start again if we get a chance. But Benji McCluskey's already out of the slipstream and up the inside of Mark Frederick through turn number 1. Back into the lead he goes, and Mark Frederick's already right on the rear of him as he goes through 2. He's going to get a lot of dirty air as we head through 2 here, but he's stuck with him, and he's going to be able to make the move. Question is inside or outside as we head into turn 3. No, he's backed off. He's going to keep it behind. Meanwhile, this is Ben Gregory going for 3rd place past Christian Yuell. Doesn't quite make it though. Had to back off. Couldn't quite get the move completed. Christian Yuell had the benefit of slipstream from in front of him as well. This is what happens. It's a crocodile of cars that happens eventually, but this is Ben Gregory now making his way past him into 3rd place. He has to back off a little bit because dirty hair has affected him there, and now he drops back to 4th place. He couldn't quite grip it up on the inside. That's the problem. Sometimes being on the outside line is better. We've got 2 cars in the pit lane, Carl Thompson and Lee Horn. Back here, we've got Gavin Gardner trying to make his way past Mark Sykes. That is for 9th place. They're still side by side. Meanwhile, Ben Gregory is through and into 3rd place, and it's not piled up. It's backed up a lot here. This is a car slow on the inside there. Look at all this into turn number 1. Ben Altry is now up some positions. So is Luca Monroe. Nigel Stock's in this battle as well. Christophe Demey as well. But Christian Yuell has dropped down a lot of positions there. Fran Herrera's made some positions up, 7 places gained. And Ieuan Stich, the championship leader, is also up 7 places from the start of the race. Really good start to the race for him. The front 2, though, are off and away. They're working together by the looks of it, slipstreaming each other, making sure they can pull away from the gap behind. If they can get to more than 2 seconds ahead, it means that they are out of reach from the slipstream. And at the moment, Luca Monroe is in danger of losing that slipstream. In fact, he might have already lost it. Hence how effective it actually is nowadays. Back here we got Ben Bennyworth looking to the inside of Ieuan Stich, but not going for the move just yet. So an interesting start to the race. These are the places gained from all the drivers overall. Biggest gainer at the moment has been Ben Gregory, as there was a driver in the wall back there. I think that was Nigel Stock back there. No, I think it was actually Fran Herrera getting into the wall just then. He's one of the biggest gainers as well, but he is getting all squirrely out of each of these corners here. But out of turn 2, Mark Sykes was real slow there. That gives Fran Herrera the opportunity to get it into 11th place. Luca Monroe has dropped off a lot of time from Ben Gregory, and Ben Gregory is closing in on this top 3. He's managed to stay within the slipstream zone. And it is pretty much these 3 for themselves now. And back here we have got Ben Altria going for 4th place. And we've also got Mark Frederick and Ben G. McCluskey side by side with each other. Ben G. McCluskey taking a very wide line there, just to be sure. And having a great little battle here are these 2. And look at this, Ben Gregory's going to join in as well. I did wonder if he was going to go for it then, but it's too early to go for moves like that. Good start to the race for these 3. Ben Bennyworth has gained a place on Ieuan Stich. Now, we were mentioning last week. Now, I'm not saying anything just yet. Ieuan Stich might be playing the waiting game here. It might be part of his strategy, but I have no idea who's good on ovals and who's the best on road courses. Ieuan Stich has certainly proved he's one of the best on road courses. Can he do it on ovals? We're going to find out tonight, really, with all these drivers. But I think there's going to be some drivers here who are playing the waiting game. Now, we are capped at 130 laps by the looks of it. The question is, are we on laps or are we on a time session? I'm convinced we're on a 90-minute session, but this suggests otherwise. We'll see. We'll see. Not much movement on this lap from this front three. Now, Ben Altry has got himself into 4th place. He'll try and pull away from Luca Monroe. And the thing is, do you sit in traffic or do you sit at the front of a pack? If sitting at the front of the pack, you cannot save fuel. If you save fuel, you'll lose a lot of time and it'll prove not beneficial at all. And the thing is, for Ben Altry, it's going to be incredibly difficult for him to catch up with the front three. He's going to have to hope for a caution that he can get himself back up towards the front three. Fran Herrera's biggest mover so far, 8 places gained. He's gaining on Ieuan Stich ahead. We've also got ahead, this is Ben Bennyworth making moves. He's catching up with Christophe Demey for the moment. Now, Ben Bennyworth has lost a few places from the start of the race. Not such a good start. We did see him peel off from the start. He might have had wheel issues or something like that. But he lost a lot of positions. He's now making them all back. Trying to move, but he's not quite going to make it just yet on Christophe Demey. Now, I got a feeling Mark Frederick and Ben Gregory have sort of embedded themselves into maybe a little bit of a fuel-saving strat here, just trying to consume conserve the tyres a little bit, not consume them too much. Sitting in dirty air is an issue, but if you get the hang of it, if you can manage the tyres in dirty air, you can focus on fuel saving and not worry too much about the tyres. McCluskey doesn't seem phased by that at the moment. He's keen with pulling away. And actually on that last lap, Mark Frederick has struggled to keep up with McCluskey. It might have got to that point with the tyre life where they are starting to drop off a bit and they are struggling in the dirty air. Now, usually a fuel tank in these cars now is wholly dependent on setup as well. But usually between 25 and 30 laps we'll get out of these cars at Indianapolis. Provided we haven't got any caps on fuel capacity, which I believe we don't. There are drivers who are... Yep, every driver is still running in this race, but there are drivers who are some way down. 1 lap behind is Toby Deck, Lee Horn, Carl Thompson, and Lewis Mason, and Phil McDougall. So they'll be hoping for some favourable cautions to get themselves back in the running. Now these three are starting to divvy up a little bit, and Ben Altria is starting to reel them in a little bit. He's now down to below 2 seconds. He might start to get a little bit slipstream as well. So where I said a few moments ago, you'll struggle to catch these back up, that might be a bad statement, because Ben Altria is looking pretty good at the moment to give this a go. No caution so far, which is rather impressive. It's got to be said. Nigel Stock is head of a bit of a train of cars behind. Gavin Gardner behind him. Ben Bennyworth is back there as well. Nigel Stock, Ben Bennyworth, Fran Herrera sit among the, some drivers, including Jamie Dory, who have a lot of experience of league racing in IndyCar ovals. We did the Crest Autosport IndyCar series a few years ago. So they'll know what to do in these long races, these long oval races. What the best strategies can be. But of course in oval racing it can turn at any point during a race. strategies can be thrown up in the air at any point in an oval race. Ben Alcher is cooking at the moment. He is reeling in this top 3. And the top 3 are, as I said, divvying up a little bit. The gaps are getting wider between them. And this is where the tyres... Well, I'd say the fuel tank is halfway through its cycle. And therefore the tyres are starting to drop off a bit. They're not quite at their optimum now. So we are going to see a little less overtaking. We are going to see some drivers also try and hit a fuel number. We know someone who is a bit of a fuel whisperer, and it is Benji McCluskey, but he will struggle with that at the front of the pack here. Let's just get on board with him here. He is using 6th gear, so he is trying to fuel save a little bit, but that's as much he's going to be able to do. Whereas Mark Frederick here, he's still in 6th gear. Oh, he did touch the wall a little bit there, and I don't know if you heard it. You might not have heard it underneath my yapping. He did clonk the wall a little bit there. It was a very small amount. But yeah, he's sitting here in 6th gear. And he'll be able to lower his fuel map, which means he'll save a lot of fuel while still maintaining a pretty decent speed, being in the draft here of Benji McCluskey. And same with Ben Gregory, who's dropped that back to more than a second behind. And he's actually now further away from Mark Frederick than Ben Altry is behind Ben Gregory. Luca Monroe is hanging on as well, so it's all rather close between all these drivers. From 1st down to 11th, they're all within... They're all slipstreaming each other now. But actually catching up with the car in front and making a move is quite difficult now. So we'll see what happens when we start to pit. There'll be drivers coming in earlier. Traditionally, pitting later is better. And but the thing is, with cautions, that runs a major risk. And as the tyres get older and older, the grip gets less and less, and battling happens when drivers have to back off a little bit. When the tyres go off, it means that more mistakes happen and cautions are more likely towards the end of a fuel stint. We'll see what fuel numbers we hit, and that'll give us a bit of a benchmark for the rest of the race. It is most likely going to be a 4-stop race. Now, Nigel Stock was getting closer to Luca Monroe in front, and you can see Nigel Stock is using slightly different lines to Luca Monroe in front. So Luca Monroe is getting his left wheels underneath the white line on the inside of turn 4 there. Nigel Stock is just keeping a little bit above that, and the reason he's doing that is because he's getting half of his car out of the slipstream to just give himself a little bit more grip. It's a little bit different with turn 1 because it's a slightly different corner, but turn 2, where Luca Monroe puts his car, Nigel Stock is having to react instantly to that to put himself slightly offline. It's the tiniest amount you do it, but it makes a big, big difference. Gavin Gardner not too far behind him as well. So surprised we haven't had any cautions yet, and actually I think we've got our first retirement. It is Toby Deck. He's out of the race, and this is what's happened to him. Oh, no, he's gone down to the apron for one reason or another. I think he has retired from the race. That's a bit of a shame. He was looking really quick tonight, actually. Really is a bit of a shame. Christian Ewell was really quick in qualifying, and he had something happen to him earlier on in the race, and it's dropped him down to 14th here. Oh, we have a caution. We have a caution. Now, that's Phil McDougall, who spun on the inside there. And this has come at a pretty good time for drivers. They'll all definitely come into the pits to take on tyres. So this is what's happened to Phil McDougall. Oh, he didn't quite hit the wall there. But you know what? he's done well to keep that out of the wall. He stamped on the brakes there to just kind of train lock it in place. But he's kept that in the race, but he will go a lap down. Oh, and a further incident has happened. Him and Lewis Mason are missing tyres there. Now, nothing's come up on the events here, so something major has happened between them two. They'll have to take it back to the pits and get a fast repair, but the pit lane will be closed at the moment. But the thing is, Phil McDougall might have been allowed to re-pass Benji McCluskey because the caution came out before McCluskey passed him. But you can just see McDougall there. He's limping it back. And there are a couple of drivers here just trying to sort their positions out by the looks of it. Lewis Mason limping as well. You'll have to wait till the pits are open, so it's unfortunate they have to do that. Now, Benji McCluskey and co might be able to go into the pits now, and it means that these drivers ahead I think Phil McDougall might be coming into the pits a lap early. He might well get a black flag for that. We'll have to see. But the pit lane is open. All the drivers, of course, come into the pits. I think there's one driver who has stayed out, and it is Mark Sykes. Now, I'm not sure that's the right idea, but you know what? Bold strategies mean great results sometimes. Mark Sykes will now lead a race here in the series, but he will not have much left in the tank. Let's see what happens here. Oh, some have overshot their pit box. Frederick and McCluskey did. So that might mean advantage for Ben Gregory. Where's Ben Gregory here? There he is. Ben Gregory will net lead this race because McCluskey and Frederick have gone way too far in their pit boxes. Monroe nearly capitalised on that as well. So the only real movement there is Ben Gregory has taken net lead of this race. He will take that. So let's see how much of a battle commences between this top three again when we restart this race. And the thing is, restarts normally mean that the drivers are not quite used to their tyre temperatures being so low, struggle on the opening laps. They say cautions breed cautions. Lewis Mason is struggling out there. I think he spun coming out of the pits there. And I think that is going to mean he'll get a black flag and have to return to the pits. Now, Phil McDougall will carry on, and Mike Sykes has now decided to go into the pits. Maybe he decided to not go in amongst all the chaos, and he'll take going to the back of the line. And Ben Altrier has somehow ended up at the back of the line here as well. He might have overshot his pit box a lot. It's the only thing I can think that's happened to him, because nothing happened on the track. But yeah, Mark Sykes, he might want to be at the back of all the chaos. That might be his thinking here, and not pit at the same time. But now Ben Gregory is leader of this race when we take the green, and I think we're going to take the green next time by. Yes, we are. Pace car lights are off, and that is a car passing by. I think that was Lewis Mason. Yep, he's trying to catch back up, and he'll resume on the lead lap, and I think Lee Horn's going to do the same thing here. He's got time to catch up, and it means his tyres can be warmed up as well. Carl Thompson's in the pits. It's not great timing for him, unfortunately. We're going to take to green at the end of this caution lap. Our first caution of the series. Our first caution of the race. I get a feeling it's not going to be the last. So the rules are of IndyCar racing. You are not allowed to overtake on the inside until you have passed the start line. That is why Ben Gregory is going to the outside line, because he's essentially guarding the right-hand side. But they're not allowed to go until the marshal waves green. That is the rules here at Next Gen with caution restarts. Now we're green, and off we go. Oh no, we've had an instant back there. That would go to another caution. Carl Thompson, Christian Yuel, and Ben Altra involved in an instant there. And Ben Altra is on his roof there, and you have to reset. That's such a shame. I think that was... Well, I was going to say drivers not being patient enough at the start. Let's see what happens. Drivers floor it whilst others in front have not quite got away yet. That's hard luck for those drivers. Christian Yuel had to stamp on the brakes because the drivers in front of him had not gotten away. Let's just have another look at that. There we go. Cautions, precautions. We're under caution again now. Driver in front of Christian Yuel here. And there we go. That's Carl Thompson goes into the back of him. Carl Thompson could not predict that. And it was teammate of Christian Yuel. It might have been Christophe de May. I'm not too sure. But that's really changed things for a lot of these drivers. And some of them will end up going another lap down. And Phil McDougall has got another issue here with a damaged car. Now, does he get more fast repairs in this oval race? No, drivers get one repair each. So I get the feeling that Phil McDougall might have already used his fast repair. I think there's others that might have as well. Mark Sykes has got a damaged car as well. That's a shame, because I think he put himself to the back of the grid to get himself away from the trouble, and he's put himself immediately into the trouble. No, Phil McDougall's okay. He's repaired his car. So has Mark Sykes, and I believe Christian Yuel will as well. Yep, he's magicked his car back into life. And there are black flags out there as well. I think there's a few drivers. The drivers have come in when the pits were closed. Now, the only thing it means is they'll go to the back of the pack. Same with Phil McDougall, same with Sykes' story here. They'll have to go to the back of the pack. I'm not sure why it's not happened to Christian Yuel, though. That's the only thing I'm a bit uncertain of. But yeah, the drivers that have impressed me most so far in this race, Ben Gregory's one of them. He's absolutely brilliant out there at the moment. Having a good battle with Mark Frederick and Benji McCluskey. I'm also taking my hat off to Ieuan Stich and Fran Herrera. Each of them have gained 8 to 10 places between each other and are now in the top 10. Still under caution. We're going to have another lap under caution. Next one is probably going to be the last one. Ben Gregory's getting friendly with the pace car then. But the thing is with this race, you can't write off anyone. If we get another caution in a very odd spot in the race, it means that there's going to be a lot of alternate strategies. Now, I do know that people who are inexperienced with oval racing or inexperienced with Indy, a lot of them have the approach of do what the leader does when it comes to pitting. Or do what the rest of the field does. And there might be a few drivers out there with that opinion, but there'll be some drivers here doing the calculations and the strategies in their head. And it usually is the ones that can absolutely get them right that go on to win these races. We will go to green next time by, and hopefully we can get a cleaner start. I'm not quite sure, being devil's advocate here, I'm not quite sure about the holding until the marshal waves green. I'm not sure it works in an oval environment, but we'll see what we can do for next time. Being Phoenix for round 6 of the championship. Because the problem is, if a driver doesn't get away, it holds up other drivers behind, and you can't really predict if they're going to get away or not. That's certainly what happened to Christian Yuel there. And co. So similar to what we saw before, the drivers will go to the far right to protect their line on the outside. That's what Ben Gregory's going to do here. It just stops drivers overtaking you on the right side, because you're not allowed to overtake underneath until you've crossed the line. Now there are drivers minding their distance already here. And now we are green. Much more cautious getaways from the majority of the grid there. But look at this. This is Frederick on the inside of Benjamin McCluskey already. And Ben Bennyworth has gained a place as well. But this is Frederick and McCluskey side by side through 2. Right behind Gregory as well. Oh, they were close there. Front wings and rear wheel nearly touching. Gregory guards to the inside as we head up to turn number 3. But McCluskey might have made his way back past Frederick here. Luca Monroe is sticking close behind as well. Stock on the outside of him as well. But McCluskey's back into second place. And look back here. Nigel Stock round the outside of Luca Monroe for 4th place. And Luca Monroe had to back off a lot there. Bennyworth is getting past him. So is Gavin Gardner. Turn 1 for the second lap under green here. Gavin Gardner has made his way past Luca Monroe. He's a sitting duck at the moment here. All because of Nigel Stock's move on him. Ieuan Stich is now making a move to the inside as we're onto the back straight. It doesn't end for Luca Monroe. Not quite going to make the move is Ieuan Stich. He didn't quite have enough of a run off of turn 2. But Gregory with a good start to this race, to this restart, excuse me. Half a second clear already, but what a brilliant move at turn 4 for Nigel Stock. He's up to 4th place. The Oval veteran here doing great on his return to Oval Racing. So is Ben Bennyworth, and he's bringing Gavin Gardner as well with him. Gavin Gardner, the host of the series, so he, being an IndyCar fan, must be inspired right now by what he's racing at. And the size of the field he's got as well must be amazing as to be a part of that as well. Now Ben Outra is on the move. He's made his way past Lee Horn. Ben Outra is running pretty good here, and Phil McDougall back in the race is making his way past Lee Horn here. Round the outside at turn 3. It's not over just yet. Lee Horn might be able to challenge back, but no, he can't. He tucks in behind. Phil McDougall is on the move. Can the redemption race be on for drivers such as McDougall, Carl Thompson and Ben Outra? And Christian Yule, don't write him off as well. Gregory leads this race. Now he's at the front. He's the one who's helping the drivers behind fuel save a little bit. But back here we got Ben Bennyworth with a good run out of 2 on Nigel Stock. Stock is guarding the inside, but Bennyworth might be able to make the move on the outside here. Yes, he does. Nigel Stock is going to let him do that. Nigel Stock knows that you've got to let people have moves like that sometimes. And Ieuan Stich is now making a move on Luca Monroe. Round the outside at 3 and 4. He did it then. He's up into 7th place. Him and Fran Herrera from towards the back of the grid have made brilliant progress throughout this race, and it's not stopping just yet. Lewis Mason is up into the top 10 as well. It was looking miserable earlier on for him, but he's in a good position right now, is Mason. Nigel Stock struggling with Gavin Gardner behind, but he's held him off for the moment. Gardner's still real close though. If he gets a good line through 4, Gardner might be able to line up a move on Nigel Stock here. Got a bit of battling back here. Lee Horn versus Carl Thompson side by side through 4. Lee Horn has to tuck back in behind, and Christian Yule is behind these two as well. But Nigel Stock has hung on to 5th place for the time being. Christian Yule, I think he's made a move on Lee Horn. He has. And up. Oh, we got a big incident here heading out of 2. That is Christophe Demey into the wall. And other drivers collected as well. Lee Horn is off. Lewis Mason was caught in that as well. And we are under caution on lap 30 here at Indy. Lewis Mason hits the wall heading out of 1. That started it. That's Christophe Demey behind him now. And the car lets go. Yes, it does. Oh, and Christophe Demey couldn't quite avoid it. And Lee Horn couldn't quite see the instant and went into the back of Lewis Mason. That could well be the end of the race for a few drivers. particularly those that have used their fast repair already. Let's just get another shot of it. That's the car giving way, and Christophe Demey, you could easily say Christophe Demey didn't quite move left enough and probably could have made a bit more of an effort to do so. But the problem is the car gets out of shape so easy. Look how much he gains on him. And the grip here will be completely unpredictable. And the thing is, the thing is he probably thought Lewis was spinning left, so he stayed right. And Lewis Mason, I think he's trying to limp it back to the pits, but... that's such a shame. He was in such a good place as well, was Lewis Mason. And Christophe Demey has had to tow it back to the pits, so has Lee Horn. So there might be a few drivers out of this race now. Some drivers nipping into the pits. Nigel Stock in the pits. Gavin Gardner in the pits. We've also got Fran Herrera in the pits. Now, I'm going to say it. These are drivers that I know have had oval experience in IndyCar. They know that they've got a free pass at tyres. They can use as many tyres as they can in this race. And they'll risk going to the back of the line for the sake of some fresh tyres. And the fact that we've still got 98 laps left in this race. So that's Nigel Stock back out on the track. Gavin Gardner as well. Fran Herrera. I think Carl Thompson has also opted to pit as well. But now we have got drivers on slightly alternate strategies. Now we did only have a few laps under green. So it's not a hugely alternate strategy, but it means that Nigel Stock, Gavin Gardner, Fran Herrera and Carl Thompson can go further into the race. Depending on the way that cautions go a little bit later on. It also means they're going to have 5 laps fresher tyres, which, if you think about it, is around about 17-18% fresher tyres than what these other drivers would be on. Let's just see how many laps we've done since the last stop. Well, actually, it's even more than that. So, really, the freshness of the tyres for Nigel Stock and Gavin Gardner is much better than that of Gregory, McCluskey, Frederick, Bennyworth, etc. And there is a driver going to the outside there. That is... Oh, the pace car. Making them a bit nervous then. I'm not sure who that was making their way, but was that Mark Sykes? Yeah, I think it was. But yeah, you are allowed to pass by when there is one to go and you are a lapped car. You're allowed to get your lap back, basically. Lewis Mason looks like he is out of this race. It was looking really good for him as well. It's such a shame. So we have 2 retirements from this race in Lewis Mason and Toby Deck. So they're now on 10-lap-old tyres, are the majority of the field here, and there's some drivers here on just 2-lap-old tyres, but haven't done any green lap racing on them. So effectively, 10 laps difference between, give or take, tyre life. You're looking at Nigel Stock in 11th, and the 3 drivers below him are on that slightly alternate strategy. Are we going to do one more lap under caution here? And that is a driver unlapping themselves. I think that's Lee Horn unlapping himself. Oh, I think Lewis Mason is back out on the track. Yes, he is. I think he just got a tow back and he was able to fast repair his car. That is great news for Lewis Mason. He has lost laps, I think. But he's back in the race, which is great news. Now, we're going to resume racing soon. And I would say we've got about 20 more laps before we start seeing pit stops. Unless, of course, we have any more cautions. But I absolutely cannot predict who will win this race. I really, really can't. You've got to fancy this top three, but you can't write off Ben Bennyworth, a seasoned IndyCar racer. Ieuan Stich as well. He's made excellent progress throughout this race. But you've also got the guys on the alternate strategy, headed by Nigel Stock. But what a great race this is turning out to be so far, and we still got a lot of it to go. Here we go. When the lights go green, or the marshal waves the green flag on the gantry, we'll resume racing, and now we will resume racing. No drivers making moves just yet as we head into turn 1 for the restart on lap 31 here at Indy. This is close. This has actually been a very close restart between all of these. We've got a slight side-by-side between Stich and Monroe. But to the outside here is Frederick on McCluskey. And I think Frederick's through. Yes, he is. Into second place goes the Dutchman. Good restart there from Frederick. Guarding the inside is Ben Gregory. Naturally, IndyCar drivers do that to guard their position. Oh, there's a wall hit there from someone. That is Christian Yuel, I think. And I think he's already had a fast repair, but he's keeping it going. But that has backed up the field a lot. Phil McDougall made his way past. But that's Jamie Dory and Nigel Stock trying to make their way past. And Gavin Gardner as well. 3 wide as we go into turn 3. That's Gardner who's got past them. But they're trying to make their way around Christian Yuel, who's just kind of sticking to the middle of the track at the moment. Jamie Dory can't quite get his way past Christian Yuel. But you know what? I think Yuel might have gotten away with that. He might be able to keep the car going. No, he doesn't. No, excuse me. He's got a mechanical flag, the meatball flag. He has to come into the pits. Somehow he's able to keep that going. And the drivers here just can't get around him at the moment. Nigel Stock is back in front of Gavin Gardner. But Gardner got a better run out of 2. He might be able to make his way past Yuel here. Yes, he does. He's got the inside, but Nigel Stock is stuck right now. We've got Herrera and Jamie Dory side by side through 3. They know to keep things patient at this point in the race when things are going on. And Christian Yuel will have to come into the pit, I think, within the next lap. He'll be able to take a fast repair, but a green flag pit stop is never good news in IndyCar oval racing. It's a bit more forgiving here at Indy because the lap is approximately 40 seconds long. But when you're on a smaller oval, it is bad news indeed. Now, Stock and Herrera are making their way past Yuel now. Although he's fighting it back a little bit here. He's able to keep the car going, but the marshals are telling him, get your butt back in the track. And so's Carl Thompson. He is struggling with a meatball flag. And Yuel was very close to the white line there. May have even been on it. We've also got Lewis Mason on a meatball flag as well. Other drivers struggling out there. And fastest lap of the race has just been set by Gavin Gardner. Oh, and there's a puff of smoke up ahead. I don't think there's been a spin. I think it's just been maybe a slight brush with the wall. I say maybe a slight brush with the wall. There's nothing slight about that. But Gavin Gardner holds the bonus points at the moment for fastest lap. That will most likely change. Gregory still holds the lead of this race from Frederick, from McCluskey. Bennyworth in 4th, Stich still in 5th, but Ben Altria, what a comeback this has been. He's back up to 6th, and he had drama earlier on in this race. Never write yourself off in an oval race. Let's see what these drivers can do. Keep an eye on Gardner, Stock and Herrera. They're the ones on the cleaner tyres, so time ticks by as Gavin Gardner got real close to the wall, maybe even hit the wall a little bit then. They're the guys on much fresher tyres, so at some point in this stint, they might well start making progress if they can handle the cars in the dirty air still. And Gardner's getting very close to the wall. He hit it again there. He's struggling in the dirty air of Phil McDougall, and he's clearly quicker, clearly got more grip. But he's just pushing it right on the edge here as he takes the outside. He's going to have the clean air on the outside line here. And through he goes. Gavin Gardner's on the move on the fresh tyres. Ieuan Stich has dropped off a little bit from Ben Bennyworth ahead. He's still within reach. But I think this front three is going to turn into a front four battle soon. Maybe even five. As I think Bennyworth might well join in on this battle. I know Bennyworth is quite conservative when he's sitting in the slipstream here. He's quite happy saving fuel and saving his tyres. And we do also have a black flag for Carl Thompson. It might be a speeding in the pit lane infringement. But you have to serve that, and his race goes from bad to worse, unfortunately for him. Okay, so Gavin Gardner is on the move again still. He's gaining rapidly on Luca Monroe, and each lap that passes by, the more, I guess, the more you'll see the disadvantage of tyres for some of these drivers. And Gavin Gardner seems to be coping with it so well at the moment, being able to pick out a bit of time here and there on each driver. He's gaining rapidly on Luca Monroe here. Monroe goes back to the top. He's able to take that line because Gardner wasn't alongside him. They don't like it in oval racing when you do that, but you can still do it. Christian Yuell is back out on the track, but he has resumed in the pack. He has not been able to stay ahead of the leaders. That's bad news. It means he's a lap down now. What could have been for Christian Yuell, who's looking real quick tonight. Okay, so we've had nearly 20 laps in this stint for some of these drivers. We're still going to have plenty more unless a caution comes along. It's great to see Phil McDougall still in 9th place here, despite the big incident earlier. He's still able to keep it on the lead lap, up with these drivers. Oh, as he goes a bit wide at turn 2 there. He's in the top 10 now, in a very good position. The same said about Ben Altria, only mentioned it a few laps ago. But that's the thing, qualifying, it's not irrelevant really in IndyCar or oval racing. It helps, but it's not the end of the world if you do bad in qualifying, whereas road racing is an element of that. So Carl Thompson is back out on the track. He's repaired the car and he's going to put it back out onto the track and do some more laps. He's a long way down, 2 laps down. What's happened to Christophe Demey in the timing screen? He's definitely not first place. I think. Oh, we have got a caution. We have got a caution. I'm not too sure where that's happened. No, nothing's come up on the timing screen, so I'm not entirely sure what's happened there. We didn't see a spin from anyone, no loss of positions. And it's just our timing screen having a wobble here. Christophe Demey is not the leader of this race. He's towards the back of the lead pack. Just see if it was Carl Thompson leaving the pits here. No, I don't think it was. I'm not entirely sure what that caution was for. Ah. Third race distance. Will we have third race distance? There'll be a staged caution. Okay. I don't really know. Okay, so 45th lap. What does Ben Gregory do? More importantly, what does Gavin Gardner do? He's done a little bit of life under these tyres. Does he commit to it, or does he go in the pits again? Now, some drivers have gone to the pits. A few have stayed out. I think they're the drivers who are a lap down. Nigel Stock has stayed out. He was one of the drivers on the alternate strategy. But Ben Gregory, Frederick, McCluskey, Bennyworth, even Gavin Gardner on the alternate strategy have come into the pits. Now, on the last stop, McCluskey and Frederick missed their pit box. But all looks good here, and McCluskey has aimed his car purposely towards the pit exit there. Frederick leaves his box, but Gregory's back out in front. But the drivers that stayed out there are Nigel Stock, Jamie Dory and Lee Horn. And they'll be net top 3 in this race. Christophe Demey is still flagging as top spot. And you know what? Let's just do this. Will that reset it? No, it won't. Brilliant. It's definitely Nigel Stock who's now leading this race. He was on the alternate strategy. He's decided to stay out there. So he might well be thinking, well, he's risking another caution coming along. The risk he's running is he'll have to pit under a green flag condition, and other drivers might get the luck of a caution. So that's the risk he's running here. But the good news is for him, on all the tyres now, he'll run out in front with no one ahead of him. And ahead of him there is Christian Yuell, who I think, Christian Yuell, he will get his lap back in. He will be able to catch up to the pack. The downside is, how low is he on fuel? Now, he did have to come in with a meatball flag, so it might be that he's actually in good condition when it comes to fuel. His last pit lap was 34, so he's doing okay, actually. He's doing okay. Jamie Dory is the one out front here, or closest to the front here, who hasn't got that much fuel left. He, I think, is about halfway, maybe more, on his fuel level. So this is going to be interesting. There are a couple of varying strategies here. Gavin Gardner has decided to go back onto the lead strategy. And it has dropped him down a few places. It has dropped him back behind Fran Herrera and Phil McDougall. And Christian Yuell now joins behind him. But it means he's got the remainder of the race to try and do some different things. Same with these other drivers. Ben Gregory was in control of the race here. Now he's going to have to work hard at it against Stock, Dory and Lee Horn up ahead. That's another car unlapping themselves. I think that was Carl Thompson. And actually, Jamie Dory here has decided to go into the pits. Now, we've got a disqualification flag for Carl Thompson. I wonder if that was failure to serve. A black flag. And actually, we've got a black flag also for Jamie Dory. He's got a black flag as well. Was he speeding in the pit lane? It can't have been. He hasn't pit when... Or has he pit when the pits was closed? He might well have done that. I think the only thing that will mean is he goes to the back of the pack. But Carl Thompson, he's now out of this race. Failure to serve a black flag, maybe. But I think if Jamie Dory has gone in the pits while it's been closed, it will just mean he has to restart the race at the back. It's not a major issue for him. Now, I have no idea what's going on with our timing tower. It is completely muddled up. But Nigel Stich is definitely our race leader. It might eventually sort itself out. Usually it does. Lap 48. We got quite a way left in this race. But by no means is this over. We're still under caution. We'll do another lap. Drivers warming up their tyres there. And what you don't want is to be in a big line of draft and you've got cold tyres. Says Christophe de May is in first place. He's not. He's back here. He should actually be in 13th place, should Christophe. So Nigel Stich will lead us to the green. He's currently led some laps of this race. Most laps led, I think, will go to Ben Gregory in this race so far. Of course, most laps led get bonus points. But Nigel Stich at the front here will have the least fuel and the the shortest tyre life. Here we go. We are about to get underway again. Lee Horn will start second. And Nigel Stich will blast us away. And apparently all drivers have black flags now, which can't be true. I think we're just having a few issues with SDK here, but we're underway. There we go. All of them have cleared. And here we go into turn one. That's an early move for first place from Ben Gregory on Lee Horn, who's isolated on the outside. Past him also goes Mark Frederick. Ben McCluskey is going to try and make a move as well. And Lee Horn was trying to get back down on the apex, but look at the front here. Ben Gregory is already alongside Nigel Stich for the lead. Excellent start from Ben Gregory at the moment. Nigel Stich was not hoping for that. He wanted to be at the front here. But he might have to challenge it back to get back in front of Ben Gregory at the end of the front straight here. He might not do it. A lot of drivers squirming around here trying to find a move. While tyres are getting up to a decent temperature now. Ieuan Stich on the inside of Lee Horn here. Ieuan Stich had a bit of understeer here and a driver hits the outside wall. That was Lee Horn. Bennyworth on his inside now. And he's passed. And meanwhile back here we've also got Luca Monroe on the inside of Ben Outra. A little bit shallow going into turn 3, but they're still side by side, and Lee Horn right ahead of Ben Altria. They've also got Phil McDougall behind them as well, but Luca Monroe had to back out of that because he was not on the ideal line. Whoa, and there's drivers swerving to avoid. That's Fran Herrera and Christophe Demey trying to get past Luca Monroe there, who had to go slow out of 4. But they made it through. Fran Herrera's back into the top 10. Nigel Stock has kept it in second place here, but Ben Gregory, top of the standings. He's controlling this race really well at the moment, it's got to be said. And Mark Frederick now has to get another driver out who's off strategy out of his way. Christian Ewell and Gavin Gardner having a little bit of a battle here. That was Ewell on the outside with another driver in front of him as well. And he's going to make quick work to get past Jamie Dory as well, ready for turn 1. Christian Ewell on the move again, back on the lead lap. He's been given a get out of jail free card, and he might be able to make his way back towards the front as this race has given him another chance. But Jamie Dory back in front of him here. Couldn't finish the move, could Christian. But turn 3, he might get a little bit more luck. No, Jamie Dory's fighting it back. He's able to hold it on the outside line really well, is Jamie Dory. He's got the perfect line there to be able to follow the slipstream of Luca Monroe in front and keep it in front of Christian Ewell. We've also got Christophe Demey there trying to find the inside of Fran Herrera, but couldn't quite make it. Ben Gregory's had a great restart here. He stretched the lead to over a second to Nigel Stock. Stock will be struggling with older tyres, and the others being held up by him. That will not be helping them either, but Ben Gregory has got a prime opportunity here to blast it away at the front. This might be the opportunity for him to use as much fuel as he can and just get it away from the pack behind. Bennyworth might be having a few internet outages there. Either that or mine's having a wobbly. Just saw some more position swaps. I think that was Christian Ewell getting past Gavin Gardner in the end, but Gardner's challenging it back to the inside, but Christian Ewell might have the better line here if he can execute it. Oh, we've got a spin. That's Ieuan Stich has spun it and into the wall, I think. Caution is out. This is what's happened to Ieuan Stich at turn 4. Oh, the car gives way as he turns in. No, he has hit the wall. He will have to get a fast repair, but somehow all drivers have avoided him, but very narrowly as well. Ieuan Stich will be able to carry on with the race. He'll be able to get a fast repair, but that set him back a little bit. Now we're under caution. What do the drivers do with strategy? Well, I think Nigel Stock might definitely choose to come in here, but does Ben Gregory decide to come in? Because actually, how many laps they had under green then? Not many. Not many is the answer. I don't think Gregory is going to come into the pits. But you know what? If he comes into the pits, others might go, you know what? I'm going to get fresh tyres. This is the worst possible position Gregory could be in right now. And if he does come in, do others stay out? Does he do the pit lane dummy, though? The classic pit lane dummy. Yes, he does. Classic. There are some leagues who ban that, but, you know, on iRacing it allows you to do that, to make it look like you're into the pits and then just back out of it at the last second. So, staying out there is Gregory, Frederick, McCluskey, Bennyworth, McDougall, Ben Altria, Fran Herrera, Luca Monroe, and Christian Ewell. But in the pits has come Nigel Stock, Christophe Demey, Mark Sykes, Gavin Gardner has pitted again. I think Gavin Gardner has pitted the most in this race. Lee Horn's in the pits, Jamie Dory, and Ieuan Stich, of course. He's got the fast repair. So now we've got even more alternate strategies out on the track. But Ben Gregory will resume lead of this race. But, yeah, Ieuan Stich with the incident there that caused the caution. But he's still able to keep it going. He's got the fast repair. He's still on the lead lap. He's just set back a bit by a few positions. It means he has to make his way back up. But the championship leader heading into tonight still has a chance. He is on a different strategy now to the front runners. But I would, yeah, it's fair to say that this grid has pretty much been split in half now. And now we are resuming racing. Ben Gregory leads us to the line. A very quick caution indeed then. And poking out from the inside of Fran Herrera there is Luca Monroe. He did make that pass after the start-finish line was passed. So he's made a legitimate move there. And he's up to 7th place straight away. Gregory in trouble here from Frederick, Bennyworth and McCluskey. To his outside goes Frederick. And Bennyworth's on the outside of McCluskey. So inside here is Gregory at the front. McCluskey inside, but now back down to 4th place. Bennyworth is up into the top 3 for the first time in this race. And he's not stopping yet. Frederick's on the outside now of Gregory as they go into turn 1. Couldn't quite complete it, could Frederick? Gregory is able to keep hold of it. McDougall is also sniffing around this top 4 here. Frederick is going to try again maybe at turn 3. I think Gregory's got control of this now. Ieuan Stich is already on the move. He's made a pass on Mark Sykes further back. Into 1 we go again. Gregory's doing so well to manage this race. Look how close these drivers are getting to the wall on the outside exit of 1. Teammates fighting amongst each other. Jamie Dory passing Lee Horn, and to his inside goes Ieuan Stich. He's on the move from the restart. He's already up a couple of places from where he restarted the race. Fran Herrera is also on the move. He's just made his way past Christian Newell. Oh, and that's a driver into the wall there. I think that was Jamie Dory. Hits the wall again. He's going to have damage to the car. Yep, he is struggling to keep it out of the wall again. He might have to limp it back to the pits here, but somehow he's kept it out of danger. He's able to keep going, but that's going to compromise him a lot. Gardner's back past Ewell for 10th place. No move from Frederick on Gregory, but Bennyworth up into 3rd place. This is what he does. He just kind of sits behind, and then when you don't expect it, he plucks away at your positions. Nigel Stock, who's one of the front runners on the now alternate strategy, is on the move. As we just saw Ben Altria lose a place to Luca Monroe. Nigel Stock, lap 50, he's got six laps in hand on other drivers. And now he's looking for a move on Ben Altria here to the outside of 1. Might not complete this just yet, or is he? He's looking to the outside. He's keeping it to the outside. Threads the ice. Needle. Brilliant move from Nigel Stock for 7th place. Ben Altria, brilliant racing etiquette there to just give Nigel Stock the room. As difficult as it is on a course like this, in cars like this. And Fran Herrera's now making the move on Ben Altra. Was Fran Herrera on that alternate strategy? Just got to remind myself. No, he wasn't. But Gavin Gardner is, and he's now looking at Ben Altra in front of him. He'll go to the outside. He stays directly behind. Oh my word, they're all so close to the outside at one. Fredericks to the outside of Gregory here. It's difficult to pass at the front of the pack here at Indy, as Gardner has now made his way past Ben Altra for 9th. I think Frederick wants this now. He wants the front of this pack. I think this point in the race, fuel saving has gone a little bit out the window and they are just going for it. They know more cautions are going to come, potentially. Ieuan Stich has made his move on Christian Yuel. The teammates there are together. That's Stich, DeMay and Christian Yuel, all with similar liveries, are together on track right now, 11th, 12th and 13th. They might well start working together here. Oh, we have a meatball flag out there. That's for Phil McDougall. Might have hit a wall quite hard. And that is 5th place. That's going to go away for him. He's going to have to take the stop. He might have used his fast repair already. And the only thing I'm just wondering now is if there are, in fact, unlimited fast repairs for these drivers. I'm reading the rules and it says 1 per race. And I just wonder if they got put up for this oval race here. Into the pits back there goes Christian Yuel. He is on a very alternate strategy, so now it's time for him to pit. But McDougall sticking to the outside there, just keeping out of Luca Monroe's way, and Luca Monroe will now go through into the top 5. But Nigel Stock here has got a very good run out of 2. He'll take to the middle, and that's going to be the better line. He's through. He's passed both of them, and Stock is into the top 5 on fresher tyres than everyone. Phil McDougall will take to the pits. Fran Herrera has gained a place on Gavin Gardner. Ieuan Stich has gained a place on Ben Altra, who was slow out of 4 there, but Christophe DeMay has also passed him for 10th. But Phil McDougall will take maybe a fast repair there. Let's just take a look. The front left wing looks like it's drooping a little bit. No, it was the rear right tyre that was slightly damaged. He must have hit the wall at some point. But it means he's in danger of losing a lap here, is Phil McDougall. He's on pit exit now. He might be able to get out in time. I can hear him getting away now, but he might well be in trouble here. But the beauty is, they're doing slightly NASCAR rules here for this IndyCar League. When you are a lap down, you do get your lap back. So if there's another caution, McDougall might be in luck and might be able to get his lap back. So Nigel Stock is on fresher tyres and he's 3.4 seconds down from the top 4. Now when their tyres start to drop off a little bit, Nigel Stock might be able to reel in Benji McCluskey like what we saw earlier with Ben Altria on the first stint of the race. Now, my question is, I'm a little bit uncertain how long we got left in this race. I'm not entirely sure if we have got... Oh, hang on a minute, I've just messed up my sound settings. And back to normal. Yeah, so Yeah, we did see it at the start of the race. Ben Altria was able to reel in the drivers in front when their tyres went off a bit. But yeah, in terms of distance to the end, I don't know if we've actually got 19 minutes left in this race or not. He did say 90 minutes on the brief to start here. Oh, we have a caution out. And it's for Ben Altria, who's had an incident. Let's see what's happened. Oh, I think he touched the outside wall there. Ah, and into the wall at turn 1. He spins the car around. And he will be able to lint that back. He might be able to get a fast repair. But that's bad news for Ben Altria, who will drop down a fair few positions. And another caution here, and it comes at another awkward time. Now what do drivers do? This is Indy at its most classic. So they've done 20 laps. Not necessarily all at green, but they've done 20 laps on these tyres. I reckon they're going to pit again. Let's see what happens. Does he throw the pit lane dummy? No, he doesn't. He comes into the pits. But some drivers have stayed out, and that driver that stayed out is Nigel Stock. He's going aggressive with this strategy. Lee Horn is also on an alternate strategy. So is Mark Sykes. Nigel Stock will resume lead of the race as he did at the beginning of the previous restart. Oh, a big spin there from... Oh my word, a bit of Austin Powers there. Who is that at the... Oh, it's Christian Yuell who spun it at the pit lane entry to his pit box there. I think he might have pulled the clutch and let go of it too quickly, and that would have spun the car around. Ben McCluskey has got the jump on Mark Frederick on that stop there. He's also got the jump on Ben Bennyworth. So a good one there from Benji McCluskey. Now, with there being just over half an hour left, it might be that with enough cautions, we can get to the end without any more stops. That might be on some of the minds of the drivers here. But 14 laps fresher tyres now for everyone from 4th back. That's a big advantage, especially with what we've seen tonight. So Ben Gregory, I wouldn't be surprised if he's taking back the lead of this race rather quickly on this restart. Bill McDougall is able to get back to the back of the pack and back onto the lead lap. Don't think Christian Yuell is at the moment. So we'll resume racing after this lap, and actually you'll notice that the brightness of the track. We are getting on in the day here at Indy. And that is Christian Yuell getting back his lead lap. Stand corrected, actually. So he'll rejoin to the back of the pack in 16th place. Still 16 cars running of the 19 that started this. It is a shame we've seen retirements from Carl Thompson, Lewis Mason and Toby Deck. But definitely for Thompson and Mason, they had multiple incidents which has cost their race. So we're about to get back to racing, back to green flag. And it's safe to say that we're not going to get to 130 laps. 1 hour 45 is our target now. Phil McDougall with a black flag. I'm not entirely sure why that is. But we are racing again here at Indy. Nigel Stock leads us to green. What can Ben Gregory and McCluskey and others do with the three that are ahead of them? Already Gregory has disposed of Sykes. Lee Horn is trying to move on Nigel Stock. Can Lee Horn take the lead of his first IndyCar race? Can't quite make the move going into 3, but McCluskey is looking around Ben Gregory as well for 3rd place and maybe even net lead of this race. We've got Luca Monroe side by side with Mark Sykes. We've also got Fran Herrera looking around 3 wide going into turn 1. But he's understeered out wide and the car's going into the wall on the outside there. I think one of them was Luca Monroe just then. No, it wasn't. It was Ieuan Stich who made contact with the wall, but he's made it through and he's made his way back past Mark Sykes. He's up into 7th place, goes Ieuan Stich. That was an intense turn 1 there for this pack of cars. But back towards... Oh, there's another car in the wall. I think that was Mark Sykes. Yeah, Mark Sykes has gone into the wall back there. But still 1 and 2 is Lee Horn and Nigel Stock. Oh, and there's contact back there. And big incident there. That's going to be another caution. 3 cars involved there. I think that's Christian Yule and Ben Altria. No, Christian Yule has made it through. It was another driver involved. It was Phil McDougall. Let's just get another replay of that. And we have to go further back than that. Okay, we won't. Yeah, he just went into the back there. Didn't quite have enough room in front of him. The driver in front, Ben Altria, had to check up a little bit. This is heading into 1. We'll go slow-mo here. There's Ben Altria. Gets into turn 1. He's going to get a little bit of a push. A bit of an air push from Luca Monroe ahead. And there you go. That's where the car starts to understeer. Mark Sykes has to check up. But by then it's too late. And the two go into each other. And that's game over for them two. And Phil McDougall. Nasty crash if you saw that in real life as well. And they'll have to tow back to the pits. And Phil McDougall is in the pits again repairing his car. Now, Stock still leads this race. And Lee Horn is still in 2nd place. Both with old tyres. Now, is this the time for them to come into the pits? Or are they going to just keep it going? We have 25 minutes left in this race. Most of these drivers could squeeze in another stop here. And it could be to their advantage. Lee Horn is going to take it to the pits. Another driver throwing the dummy there. There's a couple of other next-gen drivers in the pits. Gavin Gardner, I'm fairly sure, has come into the pits on every single caution in this race. I'm fairly sure he's done that. But you know what? If we go green to the end of the race, these are the guys who are going to be on the freshest tyres. But is it enough to get to the end? Especially with fuel. We haven't run a full stint. We haven't had any green flag stops. So it's hard to know what the fuel number is. And the drivers will be a little bit unsure about that as well at this point. So Nigel Stock, he's doing what no one else is doing. He's going with risky strategies. Ben Gregory has been the net leader of this race for a very large portion of it. And can he keep it going? Do not write off McCluskey. Do not write off Bennyworth. Do not write off Frederick either. Same with Ieuan Stich. He's right on the rear of this pack that he's wanted to be involved in since the start of this race. Circumstances have led to him needing to try other things. But Nigel Stock here has just gone into the pits. So a lap late, he's come into the pits. He might have changed his mind. This is interesting. Maybe he just thought he'll do an extra lap under caution just to make sure he saves a little bit more fuel. Because this is time-based now rather than lap-based. We're going to go to 1 hour 45 minutes in this race. A long race for these drivers. Longer than the road course races we're having. And you get the same amount of points that you get for a feature race in these oval races. And remember, this series is every 2 weeks. That's the wrong calendar. In 2 weeks from today, we're back, but we're back on the road courses. And it'll be at Donington Park Grand Prix circuit. Sprint race and a feature race, both preceded with qualifying for each one. But we're going to get back to racing here at Indy. Ben Gregory will lead us to the line. How many more cautions are we going to get in this race? We'll find out. We are green again here at Indy. Luca Monroe's already pulled the trigger. He's making a move on Fran Herrera. But Fran Herrera is hanging around the outside. He might have a good run into 2 on Ieuan Stich. Oh, we have another caution. That's Ben Altria and Mark Sykes. Oh, hugging the inside a bit too much there was Mark Sykes, and he did collect Ben Altria. Altria has had a miserable race here. But yeah, just a bit too much of the inside there for Mark Sykes. Oh, and something's happened to Fran Herrera and Ieuan Stich as well. This is as the caution is called. Oh, Fran Herrera didn't get on the brakes early enough. And they're both stuck together. They somehow avoid the wall, which is good, but they have got very damaged cars. I've not seen this before, especially in Indy. There we go. They disconnect from each other. It's like they were locked together like a train carriage. So them two will have to take fast repairs in the pits if they've got any left. But I think that was just a case that Fran Herrera wasn't backing off quick enough. And I think he was just being conscious of drivers behind him. But it's cost these two a lot of positions with not much time left in this race. Just 20 minutes left in this race now. And they're both back to the back. As we've established in this race, it's not been easy to overtake. Now, Ben Gregory hasn't pitted. I don't think any of these drivers are, despite the dummies. That's Ben Altria making his way into the pits. I think they do have more than one fast repair, as we've now established. In the pits also is Stich and Fran Herrera. They also have damaged their car. Not meatball flags, which is odd, because Ieuan Stich's rear wing was missing. Mark Sykes is still in the pits. Think he's getting a tow back to the pits, a virtual tow. But yes, Ben Altra is back out on track. He's still on the lead lap. His race is still going. He's like a gladiator from a Monty Python sketch. He just keeps going. Fran Herrera and Ieuan Stich also will keep going here with fast repairs. No other drivers pit. Believe it or not, I think that was the first caution where Gavin Gardner hasn't pitted. I've seen that strategy work many times, though, with drivers in the past. Where you just pit on every caution. Now, I think, yeah, we got another lap under caution after this. And with less than 20 minutes to go in this race, these three behind Ben Gregory, maybe even more behind Ben Gregory, are going to be thinking about how they're going to execute their moves now to get ready for the final part of this race. We've seen that overtaking for P1 has been difficult tonight. So they've got to be able to do it and complete it. And now's the time to practice it if they can. Oh, I think that's Mark Sykes getting out of the pits just in time that he'll stay in front of the pace car. Now, he is 2 laps down, but at least it's not an extra lap. Now, I did see just then, Nigel Stock has come in the pits again. Now, he's doing this thing where he's coming into the pits an extra lap later. Where he's saving a little bit more fuel and he's just getting a little bit more life out of his tyres compared to everyone else. Excuse me. And look who's back into 7th place, despite the drama that's happened to him in the last couple of laps. The last couple of cautions, Christian Yuell is back up to 7th place here. So do not write him off in this race. He's got his teammate ahead, Christophe Demey. But I'll be honest, there's about near 10 drivers in this race who really can win this race. It's hard not to put your money on this guy, though, as he has been brilliant all the way through. And again, he will lead us to green. But he has got the notorious Benji McCluskey behind him. An IndyCar Oval veteran, Ben Bennyworth behind. And Mark Frederick, who has been rapid all night long in 4th. Now we're green again. With just over 15 minutes to go, we're back racing at Indy. Into 1. Everyone nice and clean through 1 so far. Ben Altra has made a move on Phil McDougall. Ben McCluskey now trying to get to the outside of Ben Gregory already. It is a 3 wide into turn 3. Ben Bennyworth on the outside of them as well. Frederick trying to sneak to the inside of Bennyworth, but he couldn't quite get it done in time. Bennyworth had to evade to the inside. But that is Bennyworth on the outside of McCluskey. He's into 2nd place. Guard to the outside from Benji McCluskey. He's going to go to the outside of Ben Gregory already. Still on the outside, through 2. Taking a very wide line here. He knows what grip is there at this point in the race. Bennyworth has just plucked away 1 place at a time throughout this race, and he's now in an opportunity to win. Fran Herrera, Ben Altra and Ieuan Stich battling back there, and we're under caution again. There's been a big incident there. That's Ieuan Stich and Ben Altra again. Oh, he can't catch a break, but what has happened there to them too? We're under caution again here at Indy. Bottom of our screen. Ben Altra got stuck between Ieuan Stich and someone else. I think it might have been Phil McDougall on the inside. I'm not too sure. Let's just watch that again. Oh, it's a big shame for them too. It means they're going to have to come and get a fast repair again. The time's running out for them. There's less than 15 minutes left in this race. And I think Ieuan Stich has had to take a tow back to the pits. Yes, I think he has. And he might well fall a lap down. So that's such a big shame for the championship leader. But you know what? We'll see him back at Donington, and we'll see him back towards the front of the grid again if he cannot get out on the lead lap next time. Phil McDougall's in the pits. Ben Altria. I don't think he's in the pits just yet. Mark Sykes is in there repairing his car. Some wounded cars out there. There's 12, I would say, still in the running now. Ben Gregory, as I said, he entered the pit lane. He hasn't. But going into the pits is Christian Yule, Jamie Dory, and Fran Herrera. So they're drivers who are taking potentially a final gamble on a stop. Now, a lot of these drivers now will be saving fuel, well, using the caution to save fuel so they can get themselves to the end. Their tyre life will just be eking away each time we restart here. Well, that's not useful. How many laps have we done? We've done 71. Yeah, you know what? You would argue against pitting at this point in the race, really. Especially when you're at the front here. So yes, McDougall, Altria is now out of this race, actually. Sykes and Stich are now a lap down. They might get that lap back if they can get themselves out soon and quick. Pit exit for Ieuan Stich. He'll be able to resume this race. He might well get his lap back as well. He might not be out of this. There he is, resuming. Let's see if Ieuan Stich gets his lap back. And the next lap will go green. Just over 10 minutes to go, 11 minutes to go, about to go onto the clock. And if we can keep green to the end, we'll get a fair, decent amount of laps, and it will fly by. It will absolutely fly by. Ieuan Stich catching up here. I don't think he's going to be able to resume the race. Past it, yeah, he's going to have to resume the race. A lap down. 2 laps down, actually. That's a big shame for him, but he's still in the race, and he needs to pick up points for finishing this race. So Ben Gregory, can he finish this off? We have got 10 minutes to go in this race now. Ben Bennyworth. There's so many. There's 3 Bens in the top 3, by the way. 4 if you count Ben Bennyworth's surname. But which one of these 3? Even 4 with Frederick in 4th. Which of these is going to do it? We're green again at Indy. IndyCar shuffling around, guarding position, trying to make diving moves. Into 1 we go again. 2 by 2 back there. That's Nigel Stock trying to make his way around Gavin Gardner. And he's behind Lee Horn as well. But at the front, McCluskey is under trouble from Mark Frederick, who might well find his way past. And Bennyworth is on the outside of Ben Gregory again. The outside is the longer line. He's keeping it alongside, but it's going to be nip and tuck as we head towards one. Bennyworth will tuck back in behind. You'll get a little bit of slipstream. Might be able to try again. McCluskey and Frederick still side by side as they head into one. Oh, McCluskey was so close to the wall there. He's back in third, though. He might be able to sneak it back in. Yes, he does. Gavin Gardner on the outside of Luca Monroe. This is for 6th place. Christophe Demey has made his way through into 5th. And might well challenge at the top here. Bennyworth was so close to the wall there. He had a little bit of understeer at 3 and just kept it out the wall. To his outside now, though, is Benji McCluskey. He got the run out of 4 that Bennyworth didn't have, and now he's back into 2nd place. Brilliant opportunistic move from him, and he's done his fastest lap of the race. Not the fastest lap of the race, but his. In fact, he was very near fastest lap of the race, which is set by Christian Yule, 40.13. He's now going to the outside of Ben Gregory as we go through 3. Gregory's putting his car in exactly the right places to keep hold of 1st place here. Just 8 minutes to go in this race. Outside again at turn 1. Can't make the move on Gregory just yet. As I said, Gregory is putting his car in exactly the right places to keep hold of 1st place. One mistake is going to cost him, though. Yellow flag again. It's Fran Herrera this time. Stuck on the inside at 2. And we are getting very near the point where we're going to have... Oh, there we go. Oh, hit the side and the car just completely let go. That's a horrible incident. Hope he let go of his steering wheel for that one. That's going to be Fran Herrera, probably out of contention for this race. He's had to tow back to the pits. But you know what? He's put on a good show tonight. He's been in the running many times tonight. But we're now getting to the point now where we're thinking about the final few laps once we go under green. No matter what these guys can do, they can't quite get it past Ben Gregory at the moment. I think it's safe to say that Ben Gregory has got the bonus points for most laps led, but he won't care about that. He will want the race win. Heading into tonight, Ben Gregory, I don't think he took part in round 1, actually. Don't remember seeing him, actually, but... to come into this oval race tonight and potentially win it. But do not write off the others. Do not write off McCluskey, Bennyworth and Frederick. Do not write off Christophe Demey as well, as he puts himself into contention on that last restart. These drivers aren't going to pit at this point. There's not even attempting the pit lane dummy now. This is all out to the end. With just over 5 minutes to go. We'll have another lap of caution. The track not quite cleared up from Herrera's wreck just yet. Phil McDougall has got himself back onto the lead lap. I think he was a lap or 2 down. I'm trying to remember now. Ah, that's interval, that's why. No, he is on the lead lap. That's good news. So, realistically, any of these 14 drivers can do this. Less than 5 minutes to go in this race. Realistically, after this restart, if we get another caution, we may well finish under caution. And it's hard to predict how many laps we are going to get under green now. How many laps we'll have to the end. lot of cautions in this race as well. We did rather well at the start of the race. We got something like, was it 21 laps I think we got at the start of this race? And I think that was the longest green flag period we've actually had. So these drivers know that they probably need to make these moves real early. Fran Herrera is going to finish off the race, going to leave the pits, but I think he's going to end up another lap down here. Yeah, as the pace car passes that line before Fran does. And he'll have to go to the back of this pack. And I'm not sure if there's the 10% rule here, the final 10% rule here, where back markers go to the back of the pack when we're less than 10% remaining in the race. Stick around after the race, ladies and gentlemen, because we may well get some interviews. We will resume racing. When we get to the line, the yard of bricks this time by, we've got 2.5 minutes left in this race. Not many laps at all. Not many more opportunities. The sun is nearly set here at Indianapolis. Shadows cast across the track as well, which doesn't help with visibility. Let's see what happens on these final 2 laps. They're going to be going for it now. We are green again here at Indy. Already nipping out from the inside. He's Mark Frederick on Ben Bennyworth. He had to back off though. Christophe Demey is going to go for 4th place already. And I think he might well be through already. No, we've got another caution. I think that might be it. Sykes in the wall. No, it's not. It's McDougall and Ieuan Stich again. I think that's it. I think our race winner is going to be Ben Gregory. Christophe Demey might well have got 4th place right at the final moments there. It's a shame we're ending this under caution. Oh, no. The positions have been swapped. But Christophe Demey passed Frederick after? Oh, I think they're having a bit of an argument about it. What a race this guy has driven. Unless we've got green, white, checkered. That would just be amazing if that was thrown at us now. But what a race this guy has driven. He's led the majority of it. And he started quite far back as well, didn't he? Yeah, he's gained 9 places from the start. I think he started... Yeah, that means I believe he started 10th. I think Christophe Demey did get himself 4th place in the end. Frederick drops to 5th. Oh, careful, guys. Concertina up. Let's just see what the gantry is doing. Yeah, I think he is waving the white flag. Couldn't quite see, but I think he was holding a white flag. But yeah, what a race. From Ben Gregory. Really, this top 4 have put on a fantastic show tonight, and I can't wait to see what they can do at Phoenix. Much different kettle of fish is Phoenix. Short oval. Less about the straight line slipstreaming and more about the precision through corners. And more about, well, not necessarily more about strategy, but the strategy is different on an oval like that. But like I said earlier, next week we're in 2 weeks. Sorry, we're back to the road courses. Donington Park GP in 2 weeks from today. Ben Gregory will bring it to the line. And it is, I believe, a race win for Ben Gregory. It is. He wins the first ever IndyCar oval race here at Next Gen Racing. Second place goes to Benji McCluskey and third place to Ben Bennyworth. It's a Ben top three. What a superb race. When we were green flag racing, it was absolutely brilliant. And the alternation of strategies, it ended up not playing too much of a part in the end, all the alternating strategies. But you know what? When we were racing, there was some fantastic moves and brilliant progress through the grid from a lot of drivers out there as well. I know the result didn't reflect it, but Ieuan Stich was constantly coming back through the pack. So was Christy Newell, so was Fran Herrera, so was Phil McDougall, so was Ben Altria. The amount of stops that Gavin Gardner and Nigel Stock made in this race. But in reality, not a lot could stop this top four tonight. Says we've got a checkered flag, but the driver's still following the pace car around. I'm not entirely sure what's going on either, guys. Yeah, there we go. They have decided to pass the pace car now. So hopefully we get to see some donuts on the start-finish line from Ben Gregory. There we go. We're going to get some donuts. See how well he executes them. Not bad. Not bad. Well, there we go. That has been first race at Indy. The first race on ovals for this championship. Okay, slight issue with the timing here. The results are not quite displaying correctly for us, which is a big shame. We'll see if we can fix that here. But our race winner is definitely Ben Gregory. Second place, Benji McCluskey. And Ben Bennyworth in third position. Okay, well, SDK is not going to give us the results, but the rundown of our order is Ben Gregory in first place, Benji McCluskey second place, Ben Bennyworth in third place, Mark Frederick in fourth position, Christophe DeMay in fifth in the end, Gavin Gardner sixth position from Luca Monroe in seventh, and in eighth place Nigel Stock, Lee Horn in ninth, 10th place Jamie Dory, 11th place Mark Sykes, Christian Yule in 12th, Fran Herrera in 13th position, Bill McDougall 14th, Ewan Stich in 15th, and non-finishers were Ben Oucher 16th from Carl Thompson, Lewis Mason and Toby Deck in 19th. So, let's see if we can get some interviews with some drivers. Let's chat to our race winner. We'll go back to the start of the race and we'll chat to Ben Gregory about how well that went for him, because it was a very well executed race actually. Hopefully we'll get you a replay very soon. Struggling to get there at the moment. There we go. We are there. Okay, so, about time. Right, let's get a chat with our race winner. So we're joined in the commentary booth now by Ben Gregory, our race winner. Ben Gregory, welcome to the commentary booth. First of all, can you hear us? Perfect. Well, the first ever IndyCar next-gen racing race, and you have won it. What a well-executed race, mate. Just talk us through as much as you remember, as much as you can, and how you executed your first win in the series.
Yeah, it was just more of a matter of just managing myself around the other cars. As long as I could sort of stick with a top pack, I was always thinking like, oh yeah, cool. That'll be useful. And then turns out like I was able to actually jump a couple of people on pit lane on the first stop, which I was really happy about, which gave me basically track position to control quite a bit, like bringing in the snaking and like trying to get people to, you know, think about a move a bit more, like force people to the outside so they have a bit more disadvantage. And it's just playing that game of chess for the next hour and a half. Like it was a bit of stress. It's not that I do this race, the 500, every year, so it's like it's not something I haven't done before, but it was, again, doing it with people you can trust as well on track, which is the best bit. I trust everyone in this league to race, but a lot more than I trust the public. So yeah, we had some incredible battles. Benji, Mark and Ben like absolutely made me work for it that entire race. It's a bit of a shame we'd never got any green flag stops. I was hoping to see how people would have worked on that, but other than that, I had a whale of a time.
Yeah, I even said that about the green flag, no green flag stops during that, but hopefully we'll see that a bit more at Phoenix, who knows. But tell us a little bit about the grip of the cars out there, because we noticed qualifying was extremely difficult out there for grip. But just tell us a little bit how the car actually felt tonight, because we're none the wiser from the commentary booth.
So we had a practice yesterday, and I think the track temps were about like 15 to 20 lower. And so qualifying came around, and I tank slapped at the wall in one on my first lap, which didn't cause any damage, but it was just one of those things that just lost me the confidence to push on the second lap. I was I was amazed that I still stayed in 10th, honestly. But once it came to the race, I knew like at least you're not got the overboost from the turbo for quality turbo, so at least it will be a bit easier to hold it down. The setup is a bit lively. It can follow, but you do need to basically plan out your moves like a good like lap ahead. And that's if you can keep the run. There's no mistakes in it, but definitely a lively setup. And halfway through a fuel tank, the tires die, and it's just everyone strings out. Pit stops when fresh tires come in, everyone can follow. But yeah, they were very much cooking themselves.
Good old iRacing, eh? And how about the weight jacker? How much did that come into play throughout this race?
Definitely did. I think you definitely get more feel from the nose if you drop the front anti-roll bars, and also just dropping your wing out of the toe, just so you get that little bit extra air, helped. But the weight jacker, I think a few people might have been going too high on weight jacker and causing themselves a spin really and pushing a bit hard. I haven't had a look back at the incidents, but yeah, I think very high. I was only up +2 at most.
Okay.
Most of the time running in clean air, it was -3 or 4. So it was good. Using your tools is always good.
Absolutely. So I don't think we saw you at Mugello last time, but are we going to see you at Donington Park in 2 weeks' time?
Definitely see me at Donington Park. Yes.
Sweet. And how's your road courses in IndyCar?
I haven't done one for a hot minute. So I know how to drive these things. It's high downforce, high speed. The only thing I'm going to be a bit squiffy on is throttle control, just because these things, once you hit about 10,000 RPM, it's a kill switch. If you, it will just spit you out if you're not careful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited actually. It's going to be quite fun to race a Formula car on a road course for the first time in a hot minute.
Excellent stuff. And 2 more questions. The first one, a very simple question. Are you going to go have yourself a glass of milk now?
I don't like milk, but I'm considering it. I'm considering it just for the occasion.
Are you lactose, or you just don't like it?
Just don't like it. It's a weird taste.
Well, I think you're going to have to put that aside for a moment for tonight. But final question. We've got Donington Park coming up next. How is that track for yourself? I said next week, next round.
It's my local. So yeah, I'm quite excited for it. I always love driving Donington Park. It's a fantastic course, fantastic facility, and these cars are going to be absolutely wicked around there.
Absolutely. Well, Ben, you put on a fantastic show tonight and well executed win. Well done for tonight, mate. And we'll see you next time at Donington. You are the first ever IndyCar Oval race winner.
Hey, thank you very much.
There we go. Ben Gregory for you, everyone. Yeah, well executed win tonight. Once he got into the lead, he figured out where he needed to put the car rather quickly to keep hold of his position, and that's what he did for the rest of the race. And of course, he took the lead during a pit stop where mistakes came from, I believe it was McCluskey and Frederick in the pit, and he was able to get out in front of them as a result. So yeah, doesn't matter how, as long as you do. Now, we have got one more interview for us, ladies and gentlemen. This one is going to be Luca Monroe. Now, we were meant to interview Luca last time out, but we didn't get a chance to because I had to shoot off rather quickly. But we have got Luca Monroe in the comms box next. Someone I remember well from the Prototype League, but Luca joins us in the comms box. First of all, Luca, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic stuff. Well, welcome back to my comms booth. Yeah, fantastic race for you tonight, Luca. You kind of stayed out of trouble tonight, but 7th place tonight. Are you pleased with that?
I mean, leaving aside the issues with the constant amount of cautions, I was... Yeah, I was... Look, here's the thing. I don't normally do ovals. The complete opposite of... Because I was listening to Ben's interview. He does only ovals for this and hasn't done road courses. I only do road courses. I've been running all the IndyCar iRacing series road races, like Chicago last week. The week before was Montreal and all that. I run them all religiously, but ovals I stay far away from. because I just do not have the stomach for it. And tonight really proved it. I only did this. I saw you guys hosting a league like this, and I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try. It's a safe environment. I'm not in officials where, people will try and wring my neck if I don't do the most basic oval thing. I mean, you were talking about the weight jacket. That's probably another part of an experience for me. When I was, I think I might have put it the wrong way. Put it in the minus values in it, and maybe that's why I had so much chronic understeer. I was just being swamped at all the starts. I just fell back like a whatever falls back very dramatically. I don't know, gathering one. It's quite the experience, honestly.
So to be just to talk about the weight jacker there, putting it into minus figures, it's not actually a bad thing for the start of the race, but it might have been what made you fall back. But the problem is, if you put it into plus figures, you're just going to lose the rear end. So it's a bit of a catch-22, that weight jacker, but that's my advice. In that case, I'm glad I didn't put it in the plus, because I mean, I don't know if you saw, but at one point I was coming around turn 4 and I almost slipped off, and I dropped back quite a few places, and I was like, whoa, how did I manage to hold on to that? We might have caught it. You have to watch it back, but so many people did that tonight, to be fair. But to be fair, mate, considering what you've told us, 7th place is rather good tonight. So I get the sense that road courses are more your pedigree. But we got Donington Park coming up next. How are you feeling about, not next week, next round. How are you feeling about that for the next round?
I mean, I'm from the UK, love Donington and all that. It's a bit like Mugello in a sense that you just know for a fact that it's really going to come down to how well you handle your tyres. Because, I mean, the rule is if you have to run the 2 compounds, you're going to have to inevitably use the softer compound. And if you can do like a full, if you run the length of the sprint race during practice with the alternates, and just pray that they hold on adequately. I think I was using the primaries for Mugello, and I sense that even though Donington's track temps are going to be a lot down compared to Mugello, it will still be a case of it will be a gamble going on it the alternates for the sprint race, and so once we get there, once I do a few laps, find out exactly how bad it will be. But I'm still looking forward to it. It's Donington, I love that track.
It's my favourite track in the UK as well, so I'm looking forward to watching the racing. But I would say you've done really well tonight, considering you're not the biggest fan of ovals or not that experienced at ovals. You've done rather well tonight. So are we going to see you back at Phoenix, Luca?
Depends, because I still don't know yet if we're going for the legacy version or we are. Okay, so
sorry, I'm agreeing. We don't know. We don't know yet.
Okay, right. Well, if it's the version I have to buy, I won't be attending simply because I don't want to buy the track because I won't use it.
Exactly. I get that.
If it's the legacy version, maybe. But I know also there's obviously Charlotte. I mean, this all depends on if another league that I'm potentially holding out for typically has been on Tuesdays the past few years. I won't say what it is because I don't want to give any advertisement and all that. But depending on when that is confirmed, I might be prioritising that. But if it ends before this series does, which it might do because it will be a weekly series, then I'll be back for all the rounds that won't coincide with it. So I sense Charlotte will be an oval I'll still do. Still not sure if I have the stomach for it though.
We'll see. But hopefully we'll see you back at Donington Park. And last question, Luca, is there anybody who might be watching the broadcast or even the replay, the VOD? Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to before we shoot off?
Well, obviously YS Sim Sports, the team that because last time I raced with you guys, we were racing under the name United Sim Team, but now it's YS refers to Ieuan and Sophie. That's the founders. They ran United Sim Team and now have essentially done their own proper team. Shout out to my parents, who my dad might actually be asleep now, because he was, he wakes up he goes to sleep at 2 a.m. and wakes up at 5. He's that sort of person. So I sense that with the amount of racing we didn't do, we probably lost him at some point. But assuming they're still awake, both of them, patience and all that. Just glad to have made it through that, because it was quite an experience again.
But you all put on a good show, and that's what matters. Thank you very much, Luca. Thank you very much for putting on a good show tonight. Well done for your 7th place tonight. We'll see you next time at Donington.
Thank you. Bye.
And there we go. That is Luca Monroe, 7th place, as we mentioned. He was pretty much there or thereabouts throughout the entire race, actually. Snuck into the top 5 every now and again, but generally he was always looking like a solid top 10 contender throughout tonight. Now, we have got one more interview lined up for us. We have got Christian Yuel lined up for us, and for some reason our... actually, we might have to cut it. We might have to cut it because we're having a few issues with STK here. But I tell you what, we'll wrap up our results and then we'll get cracking for next round then. So, then ladies and gentlemen, we haven't got an update on the championship standings just yet. As we said, we're not able to display them straight away. We're having trouble with the results. It's going really well, isn't it? Really well. But I shall read out the order of which, and that has gone as well for me. Okay, we're having big problems with SDK. We'll have to round that up next week. But our top 3 I can remember were Ben Gregory, our race winner, Benji McCluskey in 2nd, and Ben Bennyworth in 3rd place. Let's wrap up tonight with what we got up next. Donington Park, as we mentioned, in 2 weeks from today will be the next round of the championship. Road course racing is back. It will be a qualifying to start the night off at 8 o'clock UK time. That will set the grid for the sprint race. After the sprint race, which is 20 minutes in length, after the sprint race will be another qualifying session which will set the grid for the feature race. The feature race will be 1 hour in length. That will be at Donington Park Grand Prix Circuit in 2 weeks from today, as we mentioned. But this has been the Next Gen Racing IndyCar Series, Round 2 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Let's give a shout out to our partner sponsors and affiliates that include PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, P1.com, and Falconer PC. I've been Alex Everett, your commentator tonight, and this has been the Next Gen Racing IndyCar Series. We'll see you next time at Donington. Thank you for watching, and good night.
Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, that's all from us here at Next Gen Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.